it is big breaking news. So I'm sure wherever you are in the world, it is top of the news agenda. But we're not here for that. We're here, of course, for NXT. And NXT this week looks all right. I mean, I think if ever it looks really good, I'll tell you. If it looks all right, I'll tell you. If it looks rubbish, I'll tell you. It looks all right. Let's have a look at some of the matches. I know that we've got Apollo against JD McDonagh. Apollo just seems a bit cold to me. So I think that's why I'm not crazy excited. I think we've got Indi Hartwell in action as well. So Indi Hartwell should be competing. Just going over to the NXT Twitter account. So hopefully it's the real one and not a fake blue tick. But yeah, we've got Briggs and Jensen taking on the Dyad. We've got Indus Sher in action, and apparently they're going to be called Indus Sher. They're calling them Indus Sher on Twitter. So Indus Sher are in action. We do have Indi Hartwell. She is taking on Tatum Paxley, who I have seen before, but I don't know if we see her that often. So Tatum Paxley, that should be a win for Indi Hartwell. Indi Hartwell's in a bit of a feud with Elektra Lopez at the moment. So I would imagine Elektra Lopez will make her feelings known. She'll make herself known at some point during that match. JD McDonagh taking on Apollo. Also, this is going to be interesting. This is probably the biggest thing that's been announced. Shawn Michaels will make a massive announcement regarding NXT Deadline. What could HBK have in mind? My feelings are that that's going to be in an arena and that might be away from the Performance Center. Because I feel like we really miss the arenas. I think we should go back to arenas. It's maybe questionable as to whether we would sell out arenas now. I think we would. If you think that they were selling out arenas when they were just on the network, the WWE network, now they're on the USA network. I've got to think they're getting more viewers than ever. And so I've got to think that there's probably a better chance they could sell out an arena. I don't know if that's what it is. I just think that we do need to get back to arena shows. I think constantly doing these shows in the Performance Center just makes them feel a bit small. Certainly when you compare them to AEW, who are constantly in arenas. If you look at what else is on TV, like Raw, SmackDown, AEW, like NXT feels very different. And that's not bad to stand out and feel different. That's not a bad thing, but I do think that their bigger shows could probably benefit from going back into arenas. Might not be that. It might just be he's going to announce Bron Breakker's defending the title or, could be anything like that. But it says massive announcement. So I'm kind of interested. Let me know in the chat what you think that's going to be, or if there's any rumors as to what that's going to be. Tonight, Shawn Michaels makes a massive announcement regarding NXT Deadline. As well as that, we've got Booker T hosting a contract signing between Wesley and Carmelo Hayes. And this is the big one, match-wise. Who will be the last woman standing? Mandy Rose puts up the NXT Women's title on the line against Alba Fire. So the massive announcement and the women's title match, those two are the big two segments for me. Anything else looks so-so, like Indus Sher coming back, that'll be all right. Not a big fan of the Dyads, so that doesn't really do it for me. Indi Hartwell against Tatum Paxley. It's hard to get too excited about that. Apollo, as I said, for me, he's a bit cold at the moment, so... But we do have that big announcement. I think a segment with Wesley, Carmelo, and Booker should be fun. Definitely looking forward to Mandy Rose against Alba Fire, because I think there's a chance Alba Fire could get the dub. Not saying is going to get the dub. Could get the dub. Obviously, we're going to have the fallout to the way the show ended last week with Zoe Starks attacking Nikita Lyons So there's going to be some more to that story. It says that we've got Bron Breakker defending against Von Wagner tonight as well, which, to be honest, I didn't know that was happening tonight. I thought that was going to be at Deadline. But Bron Breakker defends against Von Wagner. Okay, that makes tonight a bit more exciting. Although I don't see Bron Breakker losing to Von Wagner, but that means that we get 2 big championship matches tonight. So I'm a bit more excited now. I didn't realize the NXT championship was on the line. So yeah, massive announcement, 2 big championship matches, Booker T segment, and then a fair few matches that look all right. They look all right. So yeah, should be all right. Should be a good night. James said, what if the announcement is for an NXT Elimination Chamber match? I'd be down for that, actually. I'd be down for that. Elimination Chamber is quite an exciting match. We only see it once a year. We've never seen it down in NXT, so seeing the NXT stars in that environment would be interesting. So, yeah, that would be big news, and I'd be down for it. So, yeah, good thought. Ban the Night Vulture said, why don't they put full shows on YouTube? Raw, SmackDown, NXT would benefit, bring viewers, people that don't have TV. Money. So they get paid lots of money to be exclusively on Fox, exclusively on USA Network. It's not about reaching as many people as possible, really. It's about how much money can you get paid. If YouTube want to buy Raw and pay more for Raw than the USA Network are currently paying for it, then they would go to YouTube. Which would be a really weird way to watch it, wouldn't it? It would be a really strange way to watch it. I wonder what it would do to ratings if it was on YouTube. It's so interesting, like, how viewing has changed over time, because I feel like the ratings would really suffer if they went onto YouTube. That's weird, isn't it? I feel the ratings would suffer. I don't know why as well, because you would think, like, even just their segments on YouTube can get into the millions of views. So, for example, Raw does 1.5, 1.8. If they were to put Raw onto YouTube, you would have to think that it would probably get more eyes than 1.4, 1.8. The only thing is that 1.5, 1.8, that's America only. And on YouTube, that would be everywhere around the world. So if you got, say, 2 million views for Raw on YouTube, that's probably a disaster. That's probably not good, because that's 2 million around the world. So yeah, you'd have to do like country blocks and everything, I think. You'd have to block in certain countries, because over here in the UK, Raw is shown on BT Sport. Well, BT Sport aren't going to want you to be able to go onto YouTube and watch it for free. So they would have to block certain countries from watching it. So it would get really messy, actually. It would get really messy. So, yeah, look, whoever pays the most, they will end up with the show. Blaze said, how do you get from Tommy's bedroom back to the UK so fast? I'm amazed. Listen, modern technology, yeah. All I can say is it will be hitting the commercial market within the next 10 years. As a YouTuber, I am privy to certain technology that's quite advanced, that's not out there yet. And so I am able to just take advantage of that, basically. So I can't say any more than that. It is all connected to Area 52. So I can't say any more than that, but you'll find out one day. Hawkins said, what if the big news is Thea Hall is being called up? Yeah! Hang on. Yes! I'd be down for that. I mean, she would be awful, because I've seen her matches and she's very limited in the ring, to say the least. But as a hype woman, as someone that comes down and like just, waves pom-poms in the air, shouts into a megaphone, does a circle in the ring, and just like gets the crowd going, you could put her with someone right now and it would be awesome. It would be awesome. Even if she was just doing that. There's loads of people that would benefit by having that, like their own sort of cheerleader in a way. There's loads of people that would benefit from that. So, yeah, love Thea Hale. I found out that she's on Cameo as well, so I was really tempted to see if I could get a cameo from her. I was going to see if I could get her to say, like, hi, Wrestling Daze community. Hope you guys are well. Thank you so much for the support, kind of a thing. Because I think that would be awesome. But to be honest, I don't know where they stand with you getting cameos to then play on, like, YouTube streams. I don't know. Start going into a bit of a grey area. I feel like the cameos are probably just, hi, John. Have a great birthday. I think they're meant to be more, like, personal. So, yeah, that, I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but I don't want to get in trouble, and I don't want to get Thea Hale in trouble. So that was something that made me go, oh, I'll have to look into it. But it's cool. It's cool that you can get like NXT stars to do cameos and things now. Obviously, that was something WWE was not allowing not that long ago. Pricey said you should do a World Cup preview and your thoughts on the tournament. It's time, but honestly, I need to do 40 thumbnails. So far, I've done 4. Right. It's so hard to do these thumbnails. Trying to find good images of players from every team that I can use on thumbnails and get all the graphics like that I need made. It's just taking so long. I'm at a point now where I feel like I've got a lot of elements. I just need to bring them all together. So I'm very hopeful that tomorrow I should be making some real progress by putting it all together. But, I mean, this is where I am at the moment. I'm still drowning in prep for the start of the World Cup. World Cup starts on Sunday. I did say as well that I would put this in every chat just for those that are interested. But there is a fantasy football game for the World Cup that we've started, and I've set up the group now. So you can create your own fantasy free, totally free, but you can create your own fantasy team and you can join our league. So you can, let's go. How do I send an invitation to join the league? Let's click on that. Let's click on invites. Let's click on copy link. Let's put it in the chat. I know some of you are not going to be interested in this, but there it is. It's in the chat now. If you click on it, it'll take you to the website. You can pick your team, and it should also show you the league to join as well. Hopefully, it's got that information in there. As long as you pick your team, you can join the league at any time. Picking your team is the thing you have to get done before the World Cup starts, and it starts on Sunday. So if you do want to play along with us, because I've already picked my team, I'm in that league. I've had people tell me that they've done it and they've joined, but I haven't actually seen how many people are in. We've got a few, actually. There's a few names there. Okay, that's more than I was expecting. I don't know. Does it give me an amount of people? I reckon we're looking at a good 25 or so at the moment. About a good 25 people, I would say, are in the league at the moment. So if you are interested, go onto that link, pick your team. Basically, you get points if your player scores, if they get an assist, if you keep a clean sheet. I think you get points even for, like, if you win a certain amount of tackles, blah, 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 blah. You can change your team each week. And obviously, most points wins in the league and everything. We did it for the Premier League. People really enjoyed it. It was really good. I love fantasy football type games. So we're going to be doing that for the World Cup because if you haven't heard, we're going to be doing about 40 plus watch-alongs over the next month for the World Cup. It won't get in the way of any of the wrestling stuff. So it's all of that is additional. It's extra, right? We're still doing Raw. We're still doing NXT. We're still doing the WEP. We're still doing AEW. We're still doing SmackDown. We're still doing the Saturday streams. But we're doing 40 extra streams for the World Cup. I've got it all planned out. as to how it's going to work, how I'm going to fit it in. I've got all the timing sorted. So, yeah, we're good. We're good to go. So that starts on Sunday with Qatar versus Ecuador. England actually flew out today. I don't know when America go. I'd imagine the US and Canada probably went today as well. But England left today. So the excitement is building. Just got to hope that World War III doesn't get in the way, because that will be a downer. If World War III breaks out before the World Cup, I will be livid, right? I can only hope we can get the World Cup through before the whole thing really kicks off. So, yeah, I'm definitely keeping an eye on World War III at the moment. If Putin takes that away from me, I will be fuming. I will be absolutely livid. Hayden says, how are you today, my friend? I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I really am looking forward to getting started with the World Cup streams. I don't know why, I feel like I've just been away for a while, and I haven't. I mean, we've been doing all our usual streams, but I think, like, for some reason, we didn't do the Wrestling Escape Pod last week, and I think that I felt like something was missing. And then, like, I've just been so busy doing, like, setting up these World Cup streams that I haven't had a chance to, like, respond in the comments as much. And then, like, you know, haven't been on Twitter as much. So I just feel a little bit, I suppose, out the loop, to be honest. Just a little bit out the loop at the moment. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting going with those streams. And once we're up and running, that's it. I mean, I'm going to be here all the flipping time, aren't I? We will be going from game to game to game, into wrestling stream, into little sleep, into game, into wrestling stream, into little sleep, into so on for a month. So it's going to be pretty full on. So I suppose in a way, this is the calm before the storm. So yeah, Hayden, I'm good, and I hope you are well as well. James said, Nkunku is out of the World Cup. He's been injured in training. Oh, that's awful. Oh, that's awful. Oh, I hate seeing non-English players getting injured and getting out of the World Cup. That is awful. That's awful news. Thank you for letting me know that, James. That's terrible. Oh, God. Oh. Daisy's going to need an energy drink, said Jim. Yes. In fact, I've got one here. There's one that's just permanently on standby. This has become like a lucky mascot for me right now. It's been no word. It might even be out of date. What's the date on it? No, we're all right. 2024. I mean, if you want to know if energy drinks are good for you or not, I think the fact they don't expire for several years probably lets you know that they're maybe not the freshest of ingredients. I don't know. But, yeah, 2024. I've still got till June of 2024. So, but I'd imagine that probably won't survive the World Cup. You're right. Dort Knight said, Argentina will win the World Cup. Messi is going to be a top scorer, and he will be the best player. That is 100-1. Oh. Well, I mean, look, I don't want to get stuck into World Cup talk. I mean, I will, but I am also very aware that a lot of our friends in Canada, America, in particular, are not really that taken with the World Cup. So I am very aware that this is something that's not going to appeal to the whole community. I am a little concerned about it as well, just because 40 streams about something that a good chunk of people don't care about is quite a lot. So I am very aware to not like bang on about it too much. So yeah, I think we'll really get stuck into it once the World Cup streams begin. But that's an interesting little bet. Messi is going to be unbelievable, said Dort Knight. Kevin said, Red Bull, I knew Daze was a Verstappen fan. Goddamn Verstappen. I never made that connection, to be honest, but he does drive for Red Bull, doesn't he? Listen, if there was a Mercedes energy drink, and there probably is, in all fairness, I would be drinking that in solidarity with Lewis Hamilton. Big Time Baxter said, Tommy Fury's dad looked embarrassing with his beer belly, trying to tell Jake to get in the ring. Like, whose dad is this? It's Tyson Fury's dad. He was going to make him humble, man. He was going to mess him up. He was going to mess up Jake Paul. Jake Paul was scared on the outside, you could tell. If he wants a proper fight, he would accept the fight with Big John, but he won't do it. Imagine if he did arrange to have a fight against Big John. Oh my God, that would be the best. I'm not interested in him against Tommy Fury. I don't want him against Andrew Tate. I want him against Big John. Big John Fury. That's what I want to see. That'd be amazing. Tony says, Mbappe to United. I mean, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? That would be amazing. I'd be totally down for that. The only problem is, troublemaker, and he wants a lot of control. And no, he wouldn't get that. No way. No way should United give him any kind of power over who we buy and all that kind of nonsense, right? So, no. You might get away with that at PSG, but not at Man United. So I'll take him, and we'd play him and pay him very well, but all that other nonsense that stays in France. But, he wants out, but I think he'll end up going to Real Madrid, won't he? Miss Clown, shout out to you. Maybe that's Jake's next gig. Instead of fighting real boxers, he beats up all their dads. Well, in all fairness, even if he does that, he's getting closer. He's getting closer, isn't he? So he might be beating up people that aren't boxers right now, but at least if he beats up boxers' dads, I feel like we're getting there. Eventually, he will take on a boxer. So it'd be a step in the right direction. Daz, hello, shout out to you. Philip said, how many games are you doing on Sunday? We're doing one because I think there's only one, to be honest. I think there's one game because I think I'm right in saying it's the open of the World Cup. So it's kind of out on its own. And then on the Monday, I think I'm right in saying the first game in the morning is England versus Iran. So England play on the Monday, and of course we're doing that. So, I mean, that Sunday, I don't have anything on. I mean, Sundays are normally a day of recovery from a big UFC stream or something. And we did start doing, the Bray Wyatt streams, but obviously this Sunday just gone, we had the Mayweather stream instead. So we did Mayweather against Deji. And so this Sunday coming, we've got the World Cup beginning. So I think there's only one game on Sunday. Again, when I get chance, I'll put the full schedule out as to the games that we're doing. Obviously, Twitter doesn't allow that many characters. So this is where I need to put it on a separate sheet and attach it as an attachment. But I will try and do that as well. I'm really tempted because we do have a UFC Daze Twitter account. So there's a Wrestling Daze Twitter account and there's a UFC Daze Twitter account. And I must admit, I don't use the UFC Daze Twitter account. I thought I would, but I don't. So I am really tempted to actually change that to World Cup Days and get all the information on there. That could be the one-stop shop. I'll still put stuff on the main Twitter account, but I'm really tempted to change that over. And actually, I can see that happening, so I might do that tonight. So once we're done with this, I might look at that as well as continue work on thumbnails and just know there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So if you don't see me on Twitter much or I don't respond in comments much, it's because I'm doing stuff in preparation for the World Cup. So what an amazing event that Mayweather fight was. Oh my God. Oh my God. I legit think I had a breakdown on that stream. I'm not even joking. I was watching and it was so bad, but I was like, well, we'll get through it kind of a thing. But when they made us wait about an hour between the end of the co-main event and the start of the main event, and, we were watching those poor announcers stalling for time, you kind of I was losing it. I was losing the will to live. And then the fight itself was so embarrassing. It was so bad. And not Deji's fault. Mayweather's fault. He was messing around. I mean, I've seen people saying, look, that Deji, gave him a black eye. But if you watch the fight, of course he gave him a black eye because Mayweather had no defense whatsoever. I mean, he was relying on his head movement, but he was messing around so much. He was not taking that fight seriously in the slightest. And it just showed. And I just don't get it. I don't understand how he is so respectful at the press conferences. And then as soon as the bell rings, he's in there and he's doing all these kinds of like moves and just messing around. I mean, he's dancing in the ring. Big smile on his face, doing like just pivots for the sake of pivoting. And it was, oh God, it was embarrassing. Those are the kind of fights that when people say this is embarrassing to boxing, those are the fights that you look at and go, yeah, they are. That makes the sport look just like a complete sham. And how funny that it was Mayweather that was responsible for that and not a YouTuber. Not a YouTuber. You don't see YouTubers necessarily acting that way. YouTubers get in there and they actually give it a damn good go because their reputations are on the line. So they can't really afford to be getting knocked out. So they have to get in there and, all right, the level is low, but they go in there and give it a damn good go, and they seem to at least treat it with respect. Mayweather got in there, just looked like a clown. Yeah, it was bad, man. It was really bad. That's I had people in the comments saying, why are you even watching this? Like, you shouldn't be giving like this your attention. It's bad for boxing. Normally I just ignore those comments, but I must admit after Sunday I was like, yeah, it was. It was. It sucked. Is Mayweather tainting his own legacy? I mean, I feel like no, because I think a lot of people didn't watch, to be honest. I think a lot of people have already dismissed these exhibitions as being Mayweather just out for money, which he is. And so I think a lot of people are just staying away from them. But for me, I can see the value in them. I was talking during the stream. I was like, he said he's going to come to London or to the UK in February. And part of me was like, I should go. You know, he's one of the greatest boxers of all time. And he's still he's not in his prime, but he's still at an age where he can do stuff. You know, it's not in his 70s. He's not Ric Flair. He's, 45, 46? I mean, we've got wrestlers that are that age that are still wrestling. So, you know, yes, he's past his prime. But he's still got movement. He's still got hand speed. He's still got skills. And it's still Mayweather. So part of me thinks like, man, that would be so great to go and see him live. So I sort of see the reason to do it. Like, I look at that and I go, yeah, that makes sense. And then when he gets an opponent that is very popular and people are into, like Deji, people love Deji, right? He comes across as a really nice guy, takes boxing seriously. Is he highly skilled? No, of course not. He's a YouTuber who has only been doing it for a few years. He's not been doing it like his whole life. He is going to be great in the influencer world. If he wants to cross over, it's going to take a long time for him to get to that level. And he'll probably never get to that level now. Because I don't know how old he is, but I feel like if you're going to get into proper boxing, you probably need to be starting when you're like 16 rather than when you're in your mid-20s. So it's one of them, isn't it? Look, he's popular. He's trying to improve his skills. He's got loads of followers. Yeah, of course he's going to get battered by Mayweather, but can he learn some? How long can he last? It doesn't become can he win? It becomes how long can he last? How long does he last? How long does he survive? How long does this YouTuber survive against one of the greatest boxers of all time? And it's not just a YouTuber that can't box. He's been doing boxing. And I'm kind of interested in that question. Yeah, he's going to lose. That was never the question. The question was, how long does he last? And it just all got ruined by Mayweather just dancing around and acting like a clown. So I wouldn't say he tainted his legacy, because I think, honestly, the majority of people didn't tune in. And I think those that did tune in, that are into the YouTube stuff, probably enjoyed the clowning around. So I don't think it hurts his legacy, but what it does do is it does make me just really question if I want to watch another one of his exhibition fights, because what's the point? I mean, really, what is the point? I don't know that Deji got much out of it. I don't know. Floyd just faffed around. The whole presentation was garbage. It was a dumpster fire. I mean, oh, God. Yeah. That was one of those streams that when you finish streaming it, you just feel like you've wasted time, basically. I didn't feel great after that stream. Let's put it that way. But that is clearly not what we're watching tonight. What we're watching tonight is NXT. And as we said at the start of this stream, I am looking forward to it. I think the show looks all right. I didn't think it looked great, but I must admit, I didn't know Bron Breakker was defending tonight. So all of a sudden, there is an NXT championship match. We do have Sean with a big announcement as well tonight. And we've got Mandy Rose against Alba Fire. And then there's a few other bits and bobs in there. But those are the key segments. So 2 big title matches and a Shawn Michaels segment. This could be all right, tonight. This could be all right. So I'm interested to see what they've got up their sleeve. And NXT has been doing all right in recent weeks. I've been enjoying the product. So I've got high hopes as we build towards Deadline. Miss Clown said, did you see the Boxing Stalk video that I sent? No. Where did you send it? As I said, I'm a bit out the loop at the moment. It was actually the only way that I saw your video that you sent for the Wrestling Escape Pod is because you emailed it me when I was at the computer, and it actually popped up, a little notification came up in the corner. Otherwise, there's a chance I wouldn't even have seen the video that you sent. But I'm pleased that I did, because I thought it was a great question. We do a podcast just before NXT. It's why we're sometimes a few minutes late. And we, this week, was talking about a few different things. And one of them, Miss Clown, sent a video in just asking, like, what people are after for Christmas, which I thought was a really good question. We probably should have dug into that a little bit more. But to be honest, I think, like, because me and Tommy are chatting away ourselves and we're not really engaging with the chat as much as what I do with these streams, I think that means that people in the chat obviously are engaging in their own conversations. So sometimes those questions can be asked and I don't know that we get tons of answers. So I don't know how many responses we got to that question, but I really like it. I really like that question. Maybe we should give it a bit more of a focus next week and see if people have got some things they're after for Christmas. It was an email. It was before the wet video. Well, there we go. I didn't see the notification on that one, so that one passed me by. But I will check it out. Do you think Alba Fire will beat Mandy Rose tonight? Listen, I don't think Bron Breakker's losing, but I do think Alba Fire wins. So I'm going to say yes, but I'm interested in your thoughts. So let's put a poll in the chat. Who wins? Who wins? Is it going to be Alba Fire or is it going to be Mandy Rose? Mandy Rose. Right, there we go. So there is a poll in the chat. Big Time Back said, did you see the clip going around of Sammy at the boxing? He got cricket reactions. Yeah, well, I mean, I watched the show, didn't I? So I saw Sammy. That crowd, I can't blame the crowd. I mean, he did get cricket reactions. They didn't know who he was. But, I mean, saying that, like, I don't know how big AEW is in, like, Saudi Arabia. But not only that, those fans were being made to wait. They had to wait for so long. And Sammy was having to try and fill time. And the crowd were dead and, like, they'd seen a rubbish show. Some of the fights before the main event were rubbish. The Tommy Fury fight got boos, and that was the co-main event. So the crowd watched a fight that had boos. Granted, there was a little bit of a showdown between Big John and Jake, which was quite exciting, and Tommy and Jake. So that, might have got the crowds a bit more enthused. But then they had to wait an hour for the main event. So during that hour, that's when people were trying to, like, fill time. The crowd, we even showed a picture of the crowd. They were sat there. You could see people with their arms folded. Like, as the commentators and the announcers were talking, they were just so bored. The crowd was so bored. Unless you actually watch the whole event, you won't realize how bad it was. So I'm not making excuses for Sammy because they didn't know who he was. I believe they didn't know who he was. Is that a problem? It'd be a bigger problem if he went to somewhere in America or maybe the UK. But I don't know how bad it is that he's over in Saudi Arabia or whatever, and they didn't know who he was. But the presentation was so bad. I can't blame the crowd for being dead. I really can't. Jennifer Muppet Baby 99, shout out to you, said if Kaylee Ray doesn't win, who's Kaylee Ray? What has been the point of changing her to the Alba gimmick? She already got robbed at Halloween Havoc match versus Mandy, in my honest opinion. Yeah, I agree. I think, and they've given her a big presentation as well, like her entrance and everything, the fire and the flames, and she's been, presented as quite a big character in the women's division. And she was such a long reigning NXT UK women's champion, she's got real credibility about her as a result of that title reign from NXT UK. So I think she's the one. I really do. I think she's the one. I think a lot of people would look at Indi Hartwell as well. I think there's a lot of support for Indi Hartwell because she was in the way and Dexter. But they've just done nothing with her. She's just not kicked on. She's just there. She's just not engaged in anything interesting. The last time I saw her do anything interesting was when she was in that tag team with Persia Pirotta. And Persia was with Duke and Indi was with Dexter. And they were arguing over who the cutest couple were. And, even that wasn't great, but at least it was something. And it's been a long time since that. So, yeah, I feel like for whatever reason, she just hasn't been getting onto the show. She's just not really been a focus. And they've just been throwing her scraps. So, Indi is someone that you would think should be there or thereabouts by now, but seemingly isn't. For me, the biggest threat does seem to be Alba Fire. Unless they're about to bring back Miko Satomura, who I think if Miko goes one-on-one with Mandy Rose, I think there is a chance that Miko could get it done. The only thing is, does Miko want to live in Florida for a while? She probably doesn't, to tell the truth. She probably doesn't. It'd be great if she did, though. And I would love to see Miko go into the main roster because Miko Satomura she offers something different. She's a veteran. She's a legend. But she's a legend and a veteran that's never spent time on the WWE main roster. She's actually had matches in WCW. That is how long Miko Satomura has been around, right? She's been on WCW, and she's obviously got her own promotion over in Japan. She's, a massive name amongst the Japanese kind of women's wrestling. And she would be brilliant to have on the main roster. She would offer something that we don't really have. I suppose you could look at Natalya, but if you look at how, Natalya is a little bit older now than some of the women that are on the roster, a lot of the women that are on the roster. She's been around a long time. She's a veteran. Yeah, she's a certain bona fide Hall of Famer. But they don't really use Natalya for her wrestling ability. They tend to use Natalya to kind of introduce women to the roster. So when people get called up, they tend to face Natalya. When Ronda first came in, she was with Natalya. Natalya seems to be someone that kind of puts people through their paces, checks out how good they are in the ring. And, I don't know, maybe gives them tips and pointers after the matches. I would imagine she's very helpful, lovely person. She comes across that way. A little bit similar to the role Dolph Ziggler was in and Zack Ryder were in. They were in similar positions whereby when you come to the main roster, you face those guys. And they, put you through your paces. Miko Satomura wouldn't be that person. She would be a veteran that would be a real threat to championships because she's not outstayed her welcome. I feel like Natalya has been there so long. We've done so many different things with her. She's been in so many different feuds. There's so many more women now that have kind of replaced her, if you will, that she's, always got a spot on the roster because she brings something. She's valuable. But she is definitely someone that has got into that gatekeeping kind of position. And Miko wouldn't be that person. Miko would come up, and even though she's a veteran, she's never been on the main roster. She would be fresh. She'd be interesting. She is like the final boss. She's the grandmaster of women's wrestling. She could be presented as that, as the final boss, as like, the biggest challenge for the women's division to overcome. I love that. With all her experience and her wrestling ability, let her go out there and show how incredible she is in the ring, because she is. And, she could have some killer matches, man. She could have some killer. Imagine Bianca Belair wanting to find out just how good she is. And in order to do that, she's got to take on Miko Satomura. And Miko is brought in. You only see her once in a while. And it's Bianca versus Miko for the women's championship, and I'd have Miko win. I would have Miko beat a lot of these women, because when someone finally beats Miko, that person is going to be a big star, man. They will get a real push because you make Miko like the final boss, and you know how hard it is to beat the final boss in a computer game. Like, I would make Miko that. So, yeah, Kaylee Ray, Alba Fire, definitely down for her winning. But I would love to see Miko brought back in as well. Isla Dawn would be interesting as well. I always thought there was things you could do with Isla Dawn. So she would be interesting. She's kind of got that dark, moody, vampire kind of a gimmick, which is sort of interesting. So, and different. We don't really have anything like that. I thought she was going to be the one that was going to be with Schism, but seemingly not. And I think she's still with them. I'm sure she's still signed to a WWE contract, so I don't know what they're doing with her. I don't know where she is or what the plan is. Haven't seen her in quite a while, unfortunately. So, yeah, she's someone else that potentially could come in and be a threat, but I don't feel like she's a bigger threat than Alba Fire or Miko Satomura. Miko is the GOAT, says Tony. Miko versus Io Sky or Asuka. Imagine, right? I mean, imagine if Io and Asuka get together as a tag team, and then some factions start beating them up, right, and destroy them. Do you remember when we had the Kabuki Warriors and Kairi Sane got destroyed, and that meant that she was out of action and Asuka was on her own? Wouldn't it just be such a fantastic story if, like, Asuka was, taken out and Io was on her own, and Io was like, I know they don't know what they've done. They don't know what they've just done. I know what I need to do. I'm not alone. And like something like that, and just hint that she's going to bring someone in now. Like, you've attacked Asuka, you've destroyed Asuka. Asuka's out for a while. Io's on her own. This heel faction think that they've got the advantage, and Io's like, "Oh man, you've just made this worse." And she goes off and she gets Miko, and Miko comes in, and like, man, that would be sick. That would be so sick. That would be so good. And Miko just like destroys them. I don't think she should be a superstar that's on the roster all the time, week in, week out. I feel like Miko needs that Brock contract whereby she is legit. She is a problem. Imagine Miko versus Ronda. Miko, who is a legit bona fide grappler, wrestler, knows professional wrestling inside out, could write the textbook on it, against Ronda Rousey, former Strikeforce champion, UFC champion, one of the biggest names in all of female sports. Imagine them two going up against each other. That would be sick. I'm very excited about like Miko doing something on the main roster. I'd have to think Triple H would like to do that as well. I think Triple H has got a real affection for Miko, but it's just what she wants to do, isn't it? It's just what she wants to do. WWE are going to do an international event in January, similar to Crown Jewel and Clash at the Castle, says Gordon. Felix said, since the World Cup starts on Sunday, yep. Do you have any teams you think will disappoint at the World Cup? Well, do you know what? There's always a team that struggles to get out of the group. I don't know how many times all the favourites have got out of the group. Normally, at least one favourite falls at the group stage. Trying to identify who that's going to be is very difficult because you don't really know until the tournament starts. Because the thing with international football is it's very weird in the sense of they only meet up every few months. So a team could have looked fantastic in September, but by the time you get to November, December, you might have slightly different players. There could be players that are no longer in form. Some of the players that were playing well in September are no longer playing well in November, December. So it's very hard to kind of look at an international team and get a read as to how they're going to perform. You can obviously look at the players at their disposal and make a guesstimate as to how good they're going to do. And of course, if you've got world-class players, chances are you're going to have more wins than losses. And so your big nations are always going to be there or thereabouts. Yeah, I mean, your Brazils, your Germanys, your Englands, your Argentinas, your Frances, your Spains. Like, these are the countries that are always going to be in contention, yeah? Because they're massive nations. They're constantly churning out players. And so they're always going to have, like, decent players to their disposal. But who's coming in with form is not really something you're going to know until the tournament starts. Do you know who I think's got a really hard group? Brazil. I think Brazil have got a really, really difficult group. And honestly, Brazil, even though they're my picks to win it, could also be my pick to go crashing out in the group stage. And the reason why I say that is because they've got to play Serbia. And Serbia are a good team. They're a solid team, defensively solid, really difficult to score against. And they've got some players in their squad that can hurt you as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Serbia frustrated Brazil. And don't forget, it's the first game as well. Brazil have got to travel from Brazil to Qatar. They've got to get settled in. And then they've got to play a game against Serbia, who are a tough team anyway. And, there's a few things there that you could look at and go, do you know what? Is it the biggest surprise if Brazil don't come out of the blocks flying? Would it be the biggest shock if Brazil just struggle to put it together in the first game? I don't think it would be. I think Serbia is a decent team that could frustrate Brazil. Of course, Brazil have got so much talent and flair. They could score past Serbia. Of course they could, right? And once you get underway, that's it. You're up and running. But if Serbia can hold on, if they can keep the door closed, if they can frustrate Brazil, that could also be a 0-0 draw. Or Serbia could nick a winner, right? So I feel like that's a tricky first game for Brazil. Their second game is against Switzerland. Switzerland knocked France out of the Euros. So they're another team that are very good, very disciplined, keep the door closed. What they did against France was they kept it tight, kept it defensive, took the game to penalties, and knocked France out of the Euros on penalties. I mean, to knock France out is a real achievement. And Switzerland, again, absolutely could get a draw. I wouldn't be surprised if Brazil get to that third group game needing a win, right? Because they've had 2 draws. I wouldn't be surprised. I think there's every chance of that. The thing is, I think their third game is against Cameroon, and Cameroon are not a difficult team to score against. But but Brazil could be a bit desperate. The pressure could have built. It might be that they need to get a result. I think they get out the group, right? I definitely think they're going to get out the group. Because I think even if they draw, I think they do beat Cameroon. But that would be something to keep an eye on. Because the World Cup, there's no easy games in the modern kind of international fixtures. There's no easy games. And so there's going to be teams that won't get out the groups. I'm a bit worried about England, to be honest, because England have had a horrific 2022. I think USA they're one of those teams that you're never going to blow away. You're never going to destroy USA. It is not going to be England 4-0 against USA. If we play USA, I would be expecting 1-0, 2-0 England. That's what I'd be expecting. That's what I'd be hoping for. But USA are solid and have got some good players to the point where they, again, could frustrate England. A lot of this comes down to, can you frustrate the other team? These teams need to get goals. They need to get wins. If it's still 0-0 in the 60th minute, 65th minute, 70th minute, all of a sudden you're looking at the clock going, we have not got long to get a goal here. And we really need to be picking up 3 points. And all of a sudden a bit of desperation comes in. A few mistakes could sneak in. I don't know. I mean, look, I expect England to beat USA, but it's not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy. And USA have definitely got an opportunity to get a draw. Perish the thought they get a winner and they beat England. I mean, obviously, as someone sitting here in England, I hope that doesn't happen. But I think USA is going to be a problem or tricky. I think Wales is going to be tricky because they're our neighbours and they flipping love. They live for causing us pain. That's their whole thing. They absolutely, if they can cause England pain in any way, they will do that. So I think that's a problem. Add in the fact that England are always rubbish in their first game. It was a running joke. Our first game, we were always terrible in our first game. We are slow starters at tournaments. It takes us so long to get settled. Even at the Euros, we won our first game like 1-0. That was it. Second game, we won 1. No, second game, we drew. And then the third game, we won 1-0. At the Euros, rubbish. In our first games. We are not good at the start of tournaments. Hence why I'm a bit worried. Because USA could be tricky. Wales could be tricky. And our first game is Iran, right? And our first game is our worst game normally. So we could slip up against Iran. And then we've got to try and get some against USA and Wales. So, yeah, I'm a bit worried about England. I think Brazil's got a difficult group. France are defending champions, and they could be on their way home early. So there's a lot to go through, a lot to talk about. Again, I feel like we'll probably do this on Sunday because I would imagine the interest in Qatar versus Ecuador is going to be quite limited. So we'll watch the game. We'll be talking about the game, but I can see us talking more about the World Cup in general. So Sunday for that one, my friends, if you are interested in the World Cup. Right, here is Bron Breaker. We are starting with NXT. We are starting with NXT. A world champion has never faced anyone like Bron Breaker. Von Wagner. Here's Von Wagner. Don't know if this is our main event tonight. So it looked like they were in their ring gear and heading to the ring. And actually, Von Wagner is coming out. I think is this our first match? Is the NXT Championship our first match? Boos for Von Wagner. Robert Stone is in a white suit. Bron Breaker versus Von Wagner. Looks like it's going to be starting off this week's NXT. This is for the NXT Championship. The only reason Ireland's not at the World Cup is because we have to give other nations a chance, says Jordan. The opening ceremony is going to be epic, says Retribution. I'm Welsh, but my dad is English, so I hope that both go through, says Gordon. Yeah, I'm really torn, to be honest. I mean, obviously, I want England to go through. I'm not an English supporter that hates on Wales. I actually want Wales to do well. So I hope Wales go through. But then also, I know there's loads of people in our community from the USA. So I sort of want USA to go through because I want USA to stay in as long as possible because, you know, I want my American friends to enjoy the World Cup. Now, I don't want you to only enjoy the first few games. I want you to, you know, have a fantastic time, a fantastic experience, and kind of fall in love with the World Cup. I'd love it if America really took to the World Cup. And I think if their team do well, then obviously that will massively help. So I'm really torn. I mean, to be honest, I don't need to worry about it. I just want England to get through the group. But that game, I think, between USA and Wales is going to be absolutely huge. And that's one of the first games. That first game could really decide who finishes second. Because I think Iran will likely get beaten by all the other teams. They're tricky as well, though. They're tricky as well. It's going to be so interesting. So interesting. It's for all the marbles, says Excellence of Execution. Full Gear is on Saturday, says Adam. Chris said, is it just me or does Von Wagner look like Great Khali's love child? Yeah, I think he did have a growth kind of deformity, which I think made his forehead kind of, you know, like he's clearly grown a bit more than what you would expect the average person to grow. And I think that that has shown itself in his like forehead and his eyebrows. I remember like Andre had something a little bit similar. But he is an absolute giant. He is a monster. And actually quite a few of the tall guys do suffer from things like that. What's happening? Von Wagner hurls Robert Stone at Bron Breakker. That was interesting. Robert Stone thrown at Bron Breakker, and now Von Wagner is hurling shots in. Into the corner goes Bron Breakker. Kicks coming in. Knee to the face by Von Wagner. Von Wagner hurling Bron Breakker against the ropes. Back elbow. Von Wagner screams out. So right at the start, Robert Stone is thrown into Bron Breakker. I wasn't looking forward to World Cup, but the more talk there is, the more the excitement builds, says Jordan. Yeah, honestly, it's so exciting. It's just a real celebration. And if you play the fantasy game as well, it genuinely makes it more exciting because then you start watching games that you wouldn't be interested in because your players are playing and you hope they score because it's going to give you more points. So it really helps the enjoyment of the whole tournament. So I recommend if you've even got just a passing interest, give the fantasy game a go. It's free. And even if you don't join our group and you just play it yourself, like I recommend you do it because then you'll start like, even if you don't watch the games, you'll still be checking the results to see if your players scored, did they keep a clean sheet, those kinds of things. And it just, it helps with you getting a bit more into the tournament, you know? But it only comes around every 4 years. We've never done a World Cup on the channel before. We weren't. I think we had just started streaming in 2018. I think we've been streaming about 4 years, and so we potentially could have done the last World Cup, but we didn't. And this is going to be the first World Cup that we're going to be doing. So I'm so excited for it. Strikes coming in by Von Wagner. Bron on his feet. Gets slammed down. Von Wagner going over by the ropes. Staring at Bron. So Von is... It's Von versus Bron. Against... takedown. Elbow drop. Von Wagner still in control. It's a bit strange seeing Bron Breakker getting manhandled like this. Bron Breakker is normally the powerhouse, and here he's just being chucked around the ring. Shot there by Bron against the ropes. Bron gets his head down. Bron looking for a suplex. He's got him up. Delayed standing vertical. Look at this. Wow. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Delayed standing vertical suplex by Bron. Look at the speed. Look at the speed. Look at the speed he was hitting the ropes then. It does my head in when people hit the ropes and they're like, boop. Look at him there, proper leaning into them. The intensity. Love it. Love it. You want to feel like you're watching a proper contest. You want to feel like you're watching two guys that are putting it all on the line. And, the speed that Bron got when he was hitting the ropes then. Proper leaning into them as well. Really coming off the ropes. Look at that. So impressive. So impressive. Hope USA win the World Cup and Bulmer goes all out and buys us Hans Klopp the dollar, said Egyptian King. Hawk Ethan, shout out to you. Is Shawn Michaels making the announcement tonight? He is. Will he do it in the ring? I don't know that that's been announced. I don't know if it's in the ring or if it's going to be a backstage announcement, but there is apparently a major announcement that Shawn is making tonight. Adam said Tim Cahill was talking to the Aussie team at their Doha base. The Socceroo legend spoke to them about how to be in a World Cup in front of the coaches. That's cool. That's cool. I haven't had a chance to see all of like the squads and how they've got there. What I can tell you is that Prince William went to the England base, which I only found out today is half an hour from me. I only found out St. George's Park is apparently half an hour away from where I am right now. And that's where the England team are always training and always based. And I had no idea, right? But anyway, Prince William went there and he gave them their shirt numbers. And they were in a little box. And in the box, it also told them the other England players that had worn that shirt. And so there was a nice little moment and everything. And there's been a fair few videos go on YouTube of like Prince William doing that, and then the team leaving and the fans cheering them as they got on the coaches. We've seen them get on a plane. They got on a plane that was called Rainbow. Obviously, there's a lot of kickback about Qatar and the fact that Qatar obviously is like anti LBGQ plus, however you say it, rights. They're not obviously they're not open to that. And so there's a lot of teams showing their support. I believe the USA team have changed their badge. So the USA badge says USA, and then it's got like stripes down that are normally blue. I think you guys have changed those stripes to rainbow colours for the World Cup to show support. England flew on a plane that was called Rainbow, and I think there was a man at the front with a flag, and he was wearing rainbow-coloured like trainers. England are also going to wear like a rainbow armband, I believe. So, there's little things that are being done. I mean, it's all fairly insignificant. I mean, I don't think it's going to bring any sort of change to Qatar, but there's each country's doing its own little thing. So, all of that stuff I find as interesting as the football. I mean, you can sit and talk about the teams and talk about like who's going to win, who's favourites and all that kind of stuff. But I love all these little, like Tim Cahill going to speak to the Socceroos and Prince William talking to the England team and USA changing their badge. And I think Denmark have gone with a real subdued shirt. They don't agree with the World Cup being in Qatar. So their shirt is really plain. I don't even think the person that makes it, Hummel, I think they've taken their name off the shirt because they don't want to be associated with this World Cup. So there's lots of controversial things that's happening. It's really interesting. So, yeah, I want to spend some time trying to gather all that stuff together as well. I feel like there's just so many facts and figures and interesting little things connected to this World Cup. You could just stream for days doing that, you know. It's going to be good. It's going to be really, really good. I'm really excited. We was at commercial break, but we are back now. Meltzer on Observer said AEW has got 3 major obstacles to overcome. First of all, a big TV rights increase. 2, make it long-term. And 3, survive a potential NBC and WBD merger. Well, I would say, and 4, survive World War III. Because that might be hitting as well this evening, yeah. And that is going to be an obstacle. We've got Von on the outside with Braun, the ring steps. Oh, Braun is slammed onto the ring steps. They're saying, so I was just about to say, shouldn't he get DQ'd for that? Booker T said, referee needs to show discretion. This is a big night for both competitors. So Booker T saying, like, you know, referee needs to use his discretion, but don't know, man. Von Wagner slamming Bron Breakker onto some ring steps during a championship match. Referee letting it go. Referee letting it slide. Beautiful. Is that a butterfly suplex? It's beautiful. Lovely slam there as well. Von Wagner in control. Referee using discretion. Into the ring post goes Bron Breakker. Von grabbing Bron, picks him up. I can't believe how dominant Von Wagner has been in this match. He has been so dominant. I mean, I'm going to write it down, actually. Dominant Von. Dominant Von. You missed what I said. Sean's announcement tonight is for a new type of match called Iron Survivor match, says Gordon. Okay. I actually don't know. I haven't seen any rumors what it's for. So that'll be interesting. Senegal arrived in Doha, Qatar after Australia without Sadio Mane. I've heard, though, I was listening to TalkSport earlier. They said that Sadio Mane's injury is not as bad as first feared, and apparently he should feature in the later stages. So he might not have gone out with them right now because he will not be available for the first games. Sadio Mane is not available for the first games, but he should make it maybe the final group game, but certainly the knockout stages if Senegal gets through. The problem is, if they get through, chances are it'll be against England, because Senegal will likely finish second. England likely finish first. I mean, I don't even know if you can say that, to be honest. I really don't know if you can say that. But, yeah. For USA, if they finish first, the next round opponent will likely be Senegal. If they finish second, the next round opponent is likely the Netherlands. Both are tricky games. But obviously, we need to actually start the World Cup first before we start speculating on who teams will face in the next rounds. Bron looking for a clothesline. Against the ropes goes Bron. Shoulder tackle. Another shoulder tackle by Bron. Bron coming back into this. Duck underneath there by Bron. Von in the air. Lovely spine buster by Bron Breakker. Crowd are very energetic here. Nice bulldog. Lovely. Good work by Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker getting back into this. I thought the straps might be coming down, but they're not. He goes back into the corner. Gets into position. Charges over, but he gets picked up on the shoulders. Von with... Von with like an F5 type move. Had him on the shoulders. Flipped him over. Robert Stone going mental on the outside. Von has got the ref backed in the corner. Robert Stone can't believe that was only a 2. Von is distracted. This is going to allow Bron to get back up to his feet. The straps are coming down. The straps are coming down. Von is picked in the air. Ooh, he couldn't quite do it. He's got Braun on his shoulders. Oh, couldn't quite get it. Against the ropes goes Braun spear. 1, 2, 3. Braun Breaker retains. Braun Breaker retains in one of the best Braun Breaker matches I've seen. Crowds were really into it. It was fast-paced, big power moves, 2 big guys going at it. And it was a distraction. Von was distracted by the referee. That's good. That was really good. That was really good. Was it not an attitude adjustment? I suppose it was, yeah. Yeah. Braun retains. Also, props to Von. He has improved, says Scott. Yeah, I thought that was really good. I thought it was really good. Braun wins. Von distracted. I mean, he distracted himself, in all fairness. Right, we're just seeing Alba Fire now. She said, the only reason that I'm not women's champion is because of your friends. And we're just seeing a replay from Halloween Havoc. JC and GG getting involved. I've taken out GG Dolan and I've taken out JC Jane. You don't have the numbers anymore. So Alba Fire making out that Mandy Rose is going to be on her own. What about Sonya Deville, though? Or is she not around anymore? This could be the end, you know. We've already had her reach 12 months, and we've had the title celebration. Alba Fire. I think she's going to do it, you know. Zoe Stark is backstage, got a smile on her face. We're going to hear from Stark. She seems very pleased with what she did last week. Very pleased. This Friday. Did we see this on Raw? Did we see her this Friday? I don't know if we saw a SmackDown advert on Raw, you know. What does this alliance have planned? Plus, SmackDown World Cup. I don't remember seeing this at all during Raw. It might have been there. Maybe I just missed it. Live this Friday. Only on Fox. Nothing Bray? Nothing Bray? Nothing Bray related? Wow. Wowza. Wow. Daze, with Braun's match going on first, makes me think there's a good chance of a title change in the women's match. Good point, yeah? Good point. You would think that the men... I mean, I don't know. Is that sexist? Maybe. I was going to say, you would think they would probably put the men on last. Normally. I don't think that's sexist. I just think that's wrestling history. But, yeah, it's the women that have gone on last. I think definitely that reflects the likelihood of the title change. I think a lot of people probably looked at Braun versus Von and thought, yeah, Braun's retaining. I mean, we did a poll, but we did the poll on the women's match, not the men's match. So, yeah, I agree. I think they've done that first one because people know it's the one that's least likely to have the title change. And so the main event is going to be juicy. It's going to be juicy. We could get a title change. We've actually had 294 votes. I haven't actually looked yet. I'll do it now. I'll do it live. 296 votes. So nearly 300 votes. Keep your votes coming in. And keep your likes coming in as well. We never asked for likes during NXT streams, but why not? Let's give it a go. But I can tell you 57% of people think Mandy Rose is going to retain. 43% think that we're going to have, and no, think it's going to be Alba Fire. So, yeah, people are a little split. But 57-43, it's fairly close, isn't it? Considering she has had that title for 12 months, the fact that 43% of people think she's going to lose it tonight, I think is very interesting. Big Time Back said, are you disappointed WWE didn't find a way to undo the blunder last week by not giving Theory the briefcase back? No. I don't mind him not getting it back. To be honest, I don't think there's much you can complain about this week. I think, look, what happened last week happened. I thought it through extensively last week. I was trying to find a way that you could explain it and it made make sense. I couldn't find one last week. The explanation they gave this week I thought was rubbish. I thought it was very poor. Putting all of that aside, though, right? If you just put the Money in the Bank, I'm going to say debacle, to one side and actually just focus on what he did after and his match with Dolph and the beatdown of Seth and his presentation and his anger and all of that, you couldn't have asked for anything better. You could not have asked for anything better. There's been people saying, look, he needed to lose the briefcase in order to be what he is now. I disagree with that. Because I think that he could have got angry for lots of different reasons. He could have got angry and still had the briefcase. He could have lost the briefcase when he tried to cash in on Roman, which would have been a lot more credible than trying to cash in on mid-card belt. So I will never change my mind on the cash-in being rubbish. But the only thing I can praise and give them props for is what I thought they gave us after that had played out was really good. Was really, really good. So yeah, no, I'm not down on them not giving it him back. I couldn't figure out a way of them doing it that made sense, to be honest. What's done is done, but the future looks very bright for Austin Theory. Here is Zoe Stark, and boos are raining down. J.D. McDonagh is making his feelings known. So we saw Braun and JD backstage. That seems to be a little bit of foreshadowing. Now we've got Zoe Stark making her way down to the ring. Zoe Stark. Yeah! I'd cheer Zoe Stark. Boos for Zoe Stark. She beat up Nikita Lyons. Who cares? A load of simps are going to be upset. Whatever. Zoe Stark in the ring. Let's see what she's got to say. Oh man, does my back feel so much lighter? Carrying Nikita. She said she was on the shelf for 9 months. She said she came back like a bat out of hell. And I was ready. I got a shot against Mandy Rose. And then I get called into a meeting. And then everything changed. I was told there was be a tournament for the tag titles. And they wanted me to team with Nikita. Okay, so Zoe is telling she's telling a good story here, actually. I feel like she's actually saying something which is good. I wasn't medically cleared to face Mandy. Zoe, it's okay. Nikita came in and said she wasn't mad at me. Yeah, I don't mind this promo. I'm finding it quite interesting. I said earlier, Albert needs to beat Mandy Rose in order to justify NXT not using the credibility of Kaylee Ray and her prior championship reign, allowing her to keep her name, says Jennifer. Yeah, I hope she gets it done. I agree. I asked for one simple thing. Lighten the load off my shoulders just a little bit. But no. All I got were endless apologies instead of endless results. I like that line. Crowd aren't really into this. They are listening, but you can hear like talking in the background. All I got was endless apologies instead of endless results. I like how Zoe said she injured herself not doing stupid videos on social media. I'm guessing that's something Nikita Lyons does. Little dig there by Zoe. Booze, as that footage is shown from last week. I was helping new recruits. Casual audiences don't want to see Zoe. They want to see Nikita, says Alchemy Visions. Yeah, that's why she's been positioned as the face. I mean, it's not a problem that the crowd aren't crazy into this from Zoe because she's the heel. I didn't get famous posing on the beach. I didn't get famous. I mean, the only problem is she's talking the truth. I mean, I am finding myself sitting here going, go on, Zoe. Am I meant to boo this woman that's saying she's like, she loves wrestling, she's here to be a wrestler? Am I meant to boo this woman? Or am I meant to cheer the dancing woman? These people seem to be going that way. Okay, the crowd are getting a bit more vocal now, which is good. You're the same people who look at Nikita Lyons and you go to bed dreaming about her. Yeah, I mean, that's not me. That's definitely not me. That's you. She's talking to you. NXT is no longer about the future. It's about Zoe Stark. She got angry at the end there. She says, I'm undeniable. She really wanted you to hear that undeniable word, didn't she? I like Zoe Stark. I like her. She doesn't have the... Oh, here we go. Is Duke. Right, we got Andre Chase and Duke. Why did you throw in the towel? Andre Chase wants to know the truth. He was in so much pain, Mr. Chase, I couldn't stand to watch. You're a fantastic educator, but you don't know anything about quitting. If you go down, we go down. If people want to say that I care too much about this university, then guilty as charged. It's a very passionate speech from Duke Hudson. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, they didn't give her anything to do. She just came in, sat down. Indus Sher here. Yeah, not much from Thea there. She just came in and was like, you wanted to see me. She sat down. She said, you know, Duke's growing on me. Indus Sher coming up. Erase your mind. Yeah! Thea. Is it more, or does Andre Chase look a bit like Gareth Southgate? I can see that. That's the England manager. Right, we are Thea Hale, said Jim. Easy99, shout out to you, said PW Insider, said WWE are introducing a new match type. It is called an Iron Survivor Challenge. It's like a championship scramble match. Okay, let's see what Sean has got to say. That's a segment coming up later. We need a little bit of the bubbly Thea Hale. Yeah, I was a bit disappointed they didn't give her anything to do there. I mean, I suppose maybe we'll see her again later. I don't know. Hope so. Did you see the tweets of pictures of Sarah Logan being accused of stealing a female indie wrestler's look? The wrestlers even aired her frustration on Friday. Yeah, I did see it. I mean, I'm a little bit torn on it, to be honest. Like, you can look at the pictures and there is a lot of similarity. The only thing I would say is, I mean, she is a Viking in the sense of they had a Viking-themed wedding, and the Viking Raiders War Machine have been doing that for a long, long time. So if you want to present Sarah Logan as a Viking and really get into that Viking culture and tradition, I really don't know how you can present it that different to what I think is her name, Max the Impaler. I think that's her name. I mean, look, there is a lot of similarity, but the only thing I would say is that dreads, for example, I read was something that was very common in Viking culture, and the war paint and everything, it was obviously very common as well. So, I mean, if you look at the hair, you look at the war paint, you look at what they're wearing, it's all very traditional Viking attire. It's hard to know what she can do, what she could wear, how she can be different. I think the problem is that this Max the Impaler, or whatever her name is, she has got a Viking character, and Sarah Logan has now got a Viking character. I mean, she's always had a bit of that kind of Viking look. You can actually find a picture from Sarah Logan, maybe from this year's Rumble, where she had the dreads and she had the attire. She just didn't have the war paint on. And, because it was a one-off, or seemingly a one-off, no one was really saying anything at that time about how she looked a lot like this Max the Impaler or whatever. But the return the other day, because of the war paint, obviously sparked a big conversation. I'm really torn on it. I'm genuinely torn on it. I don't know that Sarah Logan has looked at this Max the Impaler and gone, I'm going to look just like that. Or if there is a bit of coincidence, similarity in there, because they're both drawing from the same traditions. They're both drawing from the same inspirations. And so, I don't know, I'm really torn on it. I'm really torn on it. Don't know. I really don't know what the truth is. I mean, you know what wrestling fans are like, though? They're going to jump on it, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's even, like, Max chants next time she comes out, which I think would be a real shame. I think that'd be a real shame. It's kind of like you're being charged that guilty of something on social media, and it might not be the case because they're drawing from similar inspirations. So yeah, I mean, look, there could have been some copying. It could have been not even Sarah Logan. It could have been someone in WWE that came up with the design for that character, you know. And it could have been that they did copy Max, so I can't rule it out. But equally, I don't know if they did or... So it makes it difficult. WWE should introduce Thea Hale bars and merchandise just for days. Yeah, I would love to get a Thea Hale shirt. I really would. Indus Sher, they're making their way down. We have seen these two before as a tag team a long time ago. Do you remember they got in trouble when Keith Lee won the WWE, the NXT championship? One of them took a picture and posted it on social media before it aired, kind of ruined the result. And then after that, they shortly got broken up. Funny, isn't it? I mean, the one guy is Via, and he looks tiny next to Sanger. Indus Sher back together again, and quite excited about seeing these two. They're going up against a couple of jobbers. Indus Sher against a couple of jobbers. Yeah, I mean, this will be a squash, won't it? Hurls him onto that top rope. Goes behind the jobber. Oof, slams him down. Tag. In comes Via. Double splash. Both collide into the jobber. The jobber goes down. HBK is going to announce that Ahmed Johnson is going to enter into the Rumble. Is Ahmed Johnson still with us? Is that a kind of name we might expect to see now that Triple H is back in charge? I mean, Triple H knows the boys, doesn't he? I've got to think that there's legends out there, names from the past that we haven't been seeing that might come in the Rumble now. I'm so excited for the Rumble. Someone made the point the other day saying that the Rumble could be like really interesting because we could have some new legends that we haven't seen before or seen for a long time. That'd be so good. I feel like we get like very similar, like, you know, Boogeyman, for example. I feel like we see Boogeyman quite a bit when it comes to legends things. $1 Million Man. Feel like we see him quite a bit. X-Pac, you know, the DX guys. I feel like we see them quite a bit. So it'd be nice to see some legends we haven't seen maybe since they left. Indus Sher are still terrorizing these poor jobbers. It is. It's not just punishing, it's prolonged punishment. Slamming down this kid again. Booker T says all the tag teams right now are being put on notice. Yeah, this jobber's dead. Great height there by Via. Jumped into the air, came crashing down with an elbow. Now he tags in Sanger. These jobbers, man. Battered. Against the ropes. Kick to the side of the head. The one jobber's down. The other jobber's trying to get back to his feet in the corner. Big splash. Goes back to the other side. In comes Veer. Sangha up in the air. Picks the guy up. Veer on the middle rope. Looking for... What was that? I don't even know what that was. I think it was meant to be a leg drop in the air. But did he kind of kick him in the side of the head? Whatever that move is, it needs to look better. Because he jumped off the middle rope. Let's have a look. We're going to see a replay here. Is this meant to be a leg drop? What is that? I think he jumps. I think what he actually does is he jumps, sticks his legs out. I don't know if it's meant to be a leg drop. It's not, because his legs go under the guy's head. So I think he has to come down with the arm instead. Yeah, that needs to be better. They respect you, but they don't respect us. In India, we're treated like celebrities. The only way we can get respect is by destroying you. And that's what we're going to do. So Indus Sher then sending a message. They want respect. Backstage with the Creed brothers. They're watching. They're trying to make a name off Diamond Mine. WWE should introduce the hail bar and merchandise. I think that move was meant for an opponent that is not 4 feet tall, said Tritium. Here's Tatum Paxley and Ivy Nile. Yeah, it looked like he was going for a leg drop. I mean, maybe it was meant to put his legs under the guy's head and then come like down with the arm. Don't know. I'll have to watch it again, see if they do that exact same thing again. It didn't feel right in the moment. They're talking about who they need to handle first. They said, we need to deal with Indus Sher first, then Pretty Deadly. So, Creed Brothers have got a plan of attack. Here's J.D. McDonald's. He's loving it. So, J.D. taking on Apollo. Coming up next, 45 minutes into the show already, and we've got JD taking on Apollo. Don't forget, in the second hour, we've got Shawn Michaels' big announcement, and we've also got the Women's Championship match, and Tatum Paxley taking on Indi Hartwell, and we've got a segment with Booker T, Carmelo Hayes, and Wesley. It's all happening. It's all happening. Dominic says R.I.P. to Anthony Rumble Johnson. Smurfy says, I'm loving it. What do you think about Logan Paul's call out to John Cena? I would love to see that at WrestleMania 39, says Waffy. Didn't see him do it, to be honest. I just don't know. I don't know what we do with Logan Paul. Logan Paul is a very interesting conundrum. He's someone that is only going to wrestle once in a blue moon. Like, he's just doing, like, the big shows. I mean, he's not doing house shows. He's not doing Raws and SmackDowns. He's just doing the pay-per-views. And the issue I have is that he is taking matches away from other superstars. So, like, for example, if you do Logan against Cena at WrestleMania, well, that means that we're not getting Gunther versus Cena. And I would love to see Gunther versus Cena. And in the long run, I think it benefits Gunther more to have that match, because what are we going to get out of Logan? Like, how long is Logan around for? Like we can give him like Cena and title matches and all this kind of stuff, but how long's he around for? If he's just around for a little bit and then he's going to go off to do something else, does that help WWE in the long run? I mean, people will say, well, Logan being in WWE is going to bring eyes. The viewership for Crown Jewel was very good. Can't deny that Logan more than likely had an effect on that and brought like viewers in for that. So, I mean, WWE are going to look to try and keep him around as possible. Logan's certainly making noises that this is something that he's passionate about. But, I mean, I remember him saying the exact same thing about boxing, So I just don't know. I don't know how long Logan's around for. I don't know how passionate he is for this. I think he is. I think he has got a passion for it. Certainly dedicated. No one can say that he's not dedicated himself to it. No one can say that he hasn't put the work in whilst he's been here. Like, he's definitely, putting the work in, trying to learn how to do this properly, and giving it his all. But I just, I struggle. I just really struggle with celebrity matches because I just look at it and think, it's such an unfair advantage that they've got. I mean, there are people out there that are saying Logan Paul is amazing, is better than most of the wrestlers on the roster. I mean, it's mental. These people have absolutely lost their minds. Because you're comparing someone that's had 3 matches this year. Most of the wrestlers on the roster have had over 100 matches this year. And they have to perform week after week after week after week. Imagine if Matt Riddle only had 3 matches a year. And before those matches, he could prepare for them for like months in advance. And every part of the match was like planned out. Like, I promise you, pretty much any wrestler would have banging matches if you was given those kinds of opportunities. So compare what Logan's doing to the rest of the roster is so unfair. So unfair. It's so unfair on the other wrestlers. Because it's not a level playing field. So, look, he's coming in. He's working hard. He's doing his thing. How you use him now, I just don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what you do with him. Where do you go now? He's just had a title opportunity. So it's hard to know where he goes from here. We're just seeing about Wendy backstage talking about Cora. She's trying to open old wounds. I like life to be fun and not so serious. Right, Apollo making the way down. Theory's promo last night, he said, I'm the face of the franchise. Cena has been called the face that runs the place and the franchise. Yeah. So, I mean, look, my feelings on Logan is I genuinely don't know how you use him because I think he is someone that has shown himself to, when you give him an opportunity, when you say, I want you for this match, he delivers, right? And all you can do is praise that. He's asked to do something and he goes and he does it really well. So you can't, there's not really much anything you can criticize. There's nothing really you can say because he's been putting on great matches. So fair play, right? Fair play. But do I want to see him against Cena? I mean, I've got to lean to no because I would rather see Cena Gunther or, as just said there, I'd rather see Cena against Theory. I feel like in the long run, that's going to be more beneficial if we can give those wrestlers that opportunity to face John Cena at WrestleMania. So for me personally, I'd rather go in that direction. The question would then be, well, what do you do with Logan? And the answer is I just don't know. I mean, I know some people would be into the idea of Logan and Jake against, say, the Usos. People would be into that. But then you are taking a tag title match away from a team like the Viking Raiders who might really deserve it, or, a different team that might really deserve it. So, whichever way you turn, opportunities are being taken away. So if Logan goes up against John Cena, that means that Gunther and Theory can't. If Logan and Jake go up against the Usos, that means that another tag team can't. You can't win, can you, really? You can't win. I think however you use him, you can't really win. I think the only way you could use him that would really benefit an up-and-comer would be if he took on like someone that was like an up-and-comer. Someone like a Theory or whatever. And then maybe the exposure that they get might help them, might boost them. The only thing I would say is that we saw Theory against Pat at WrestleMania, and I would argue that achieved nothing for Theory. I would argue that Theory was not a bigger star after that than he was before it. And he did go on to bounce. I mean, he lost that match. And so he actually kind of came out of it, in my eyes, worse off than when he went in. And so he did go on to then get given Money in the Bank. But look how that's now played out. So, it's really hard. It's a difficult one. It is a difficult one. There'll be people out there that just give him Cena. Do you know what I mean? Just give him Cena. It'll be a big match. Just book it. Do that match. Get the ratings. But I do want to see Cena against Gunther. And I'm totally down for Cena against Theory as well. Do you remember they had a little face-off last time when Cena was celebrating his anniversary? There was a little face-off backstage. That felt like there was some groundwork that was being laid at that point. So... I'd be definitely down for that match as well. I do wonder if Logan did bring in new fans. There's always a chance you make a new fan. Don't know at WWE, but did they succeed in bringing in new eyes? Well, I mean, look, they say that Crown Jewel was the most viewed Saudi show. And, I mean, the main event is always going to get the praise for that. The first thing you'll look at is the main event. And so, you have to give Logan his props. You have to give Logan props because I have said that I don't think he's brought new eyes in during SmackDown. We are going to commercial break. We are underway with Apollo against JD. Apollo just hurling JD into the commentary table. It didn't explode. He went boom, thud into the top of it and then crashed down. So, that was a nice little moment there by Apollo. And then he does a little pose as we go over to a commercial break. So... it's nice little moment. But do we see him as a serious competitor to a major title, says Michael. No, I mean, I don't, because we haven't seen him enough. We haven't seen him beat enough people. We saw him have one singles match before he had the shot at the title. I mean, he was in a tag match at WrestleMania. And then he had one singles match against The Miz. And that was it. Next thing we know, he's got a title opportunity. So I feel like, no, he's not seen as a threat at the moment. If he was to take on John Cena and get a win, that would be a big boost for his credibility. And Cena would, I'm sure, do that for him. And WWE, I'm sure, would want it to be booked that way. And for Logan to beat John Cena at WrestleMania, I mean, that would be big. And do you know what? If you was to say that last year, people would roll their eyes. But I feel like that would be a little more palatable now because Logan has shown himself to be a great talent and someone that has got the basics down really well and can do some big moves, like the big frog splash he does to the outside, crossbody, things along those lines. So, he's got that in his arsenal. It's eye-catching stuff. People are impressed with it. And I think that Cena's been out the ring for a little while. Last time we saw Cena was at SummerSlam in a losing effort to Roman, which no shame there. But before that, I think, am I right in saying his last match was then the Firefly Funhouse match? So, I mean, he's had one proper match in the past few years. So you've got to think that Cena's probably rusty, and Father Time has almost certainly caught up with him as well now that he's less active in ring and he's doing movies instead. Logan is younger, is just coming off the back of a great match with Roman. It's probably not that crazy now that Logan would be closer to beating Cena than ever before. Still might be a bit hard for some people to take, but I feel like it would be not too out the realms of possibility that Logan could get that done. So, I mean, if he faced Cena and he beat him, I mean, I wouldn't be like the end of the world. I wouldn't be like, oh God, this sucks. I would have been that if he'd have beaten Roman, but I wouldn't have been that if he beat Cena. And then that would give him credibility. But it comes back to my other point. And my other point is, how much is he going to be sticking around? How long is he here for? How much is he going to be doing this? I mean, if we're going to be giving him all these opportunities, giving him main events, having him beat Cena, then, you know, you want to build him up for him to stick around and for him to, like, put the work in. This is, you know, what he gets praised for. He gets praised for putting the work in. Well, putting the work in isn't just having a match every 3 months. Surely putting the work in is like having matches on Raws and SmackDowns. I mean, he's never going to do a house show, is he? But even if he was just on Raws and SmackDowns on a regular basis, doing promos, being in segments, being part of the build. I mean, I don't even think we saw him all that much in the build towards Crown Jewel. I think we saw him in a couple of segments, and then there was quite a few segments where he wasn't on the show. And this is the problem. He's got other commitments, hasn't he? He's got his podcast. He's got his Prime energy drink kind of a thing as well. So he's got like other things going on. I'm sure he's probably got even more than that. He's got his YouTube channel still. He's got like things that are going on. So again, you know, this isn't his be-all and end-all, is it? It's not like wrestler. This is all Apollo does. It's all that like these people do. But that's not the case with Logan. So, like, you do just worry that you give them these things, and then how long are they around for anyway? Apollo with JD, chucking JD into the ring. Most wrestlers don't get a celeb contract and have to work matches, not just the ones that are shown on prime time, says William. Dark Angel said the Russian missile blast reported in Poland. Poland considering Article 4. Yeah, Article 4's all right. Article 4, I was listening on the news, that's where they are basically they call for a meeting. Article 5 is the one where all the nations like stand together in like physical force. Article 4 is a meeting of NATO. So Article 4, I mean, I don't think this is going to escalate to World War III. I really, really don't. I think that all the leaders are going to do whatever it takes to avoid that. Because at the moment, it seems like it was a mistake. It seems like it'd be very different if Russia went, do you know what? Let's make this a proper war. And they targeted Poland and put a missile in Poland. That would be very different to, I think, what's happened here, which is a missile has strayed into Poland and hit a farm or something along those lines. So I don't think it's going to go that way. But of course, this is as bad as it's been in regards to this war. I'd say this is probably the most tense that it's been so far. Apollo is going up top. Apollo with JD. These two have had a decent little match, decent little encounter. I've been watching it as it's been playing on in the background. I must admit I wasn't crazy excited for this, but it's been all right. JD holding the back of his head. Apollo down in the corner. Hit coming in as Apollo screams. Apollo getting back up to his feet. As JD looks to throw in a chop, and he does. He's got Apollo back in the corner. Apollo going over. Reversal. JD got really caught up there. Kind of went shoulder first into the middle turnbuckle. Ended up like flipping his body up. I think at one point he was upside down. Then he sort of bounced off the ropes and then came crashing down. He was like all in a bit of a tangle. Nice springboard moonsault by JD as he lands onto Apollo. Grabs Apollo by his head. Looking to hurl him back into the ring. Crowd, little subdued. Little bit subdued. JD looking out at the crowds. JD trying to climb up now. as Apollo is back into the ring. We are into the final hour of this week's show as Apollo jumps up. Wow! That was like a Samoan drop off the second rope, but there was a throw in there as well. That looked pretty sick, actually. That looked pretty good by Apollo. He had JD on his shoulders, but rather than just going back like a Samoan drop, he actually hurls him back. It's like a super Samoan drop. I would have Cena beat Gunther for the IC title, said Sahil. I would go the other way, actually. I'd have Gunther beat Cena. Only because I think Cena, just like I was saying with Logan, how long is he going to be around for? Like, he's Hollywood now. So I don't think he would be coming back to defend an Intercontinental Championship. I don't think he'd be having a run. If Cena was to win it at WrestleMania, I get the feeling he'd just drop it the next night on Raw. Like, I don't think that he'd have a long run because he's got so many film commitments. It's probably cleaner to have Gunther beat Cena, and then that way it makes Gunther look like a bigger deal, you know. Wow, he just beat Cena at WrestleMania. Like, that would still be an achievement. As we just said, you know, even if Logan did it, it would still be a big achievement. Spanish Fly there by JD, and it was a lovely Spanish Fly. Nice, it was really good. Sometimes you see Spanish Flies and they just don't look that great. That one was really good. That one you could see how it would actually hurt Apollo. Really came crashing down. There's some signs in the crowd. Look at that. Apollo sucks. Boo Apollo. Apollo's meant to be the face. Kick out by Apollo. It's a bit harsh, isn't it? It's a bit harsh. Boo Apollo. Apollo sucks. Look at those people that have got Apollo sucks signs in the crowd. Crowd have broken out into a "This is awesome" chant. This is awesome. So, Apollo versus JD. It is good. It is a good matchup. Big kick there by Apollo. Apollo goes down. JD climbing up. JD, top rope. Looking for big moonsault. Lands on his feet. Rolls back. Apollo picks him up. Hurls him down one-handed. 1, 2, 3. And gets the win. Apollo wins. Apollo wins. I want to see those fans with the signs. I want to see them cry. I want to taste their tears. I want to taste their tears. He should go over and wave. Go over and wave. Blow him a kiss, Apollo. He should grab a pen and sign their signs. That's what he should do. Or go over and add the word "doesn't." Apollo doesn't suck. Daze, if like Bray to avenge his loss against John Cena, yeah, I mean, yeah, I would be down for that, definitely. I think that's a good call. The only thing is it's going to bring into conversation the whole Firefly Funhouse match. You know, a lot of Bray fans will say that's what the Funhouse match did. For me, the Funhouse match is so random. I don't know. I just don't know that you can class it as anything. I still, to this day, don't know what you class it as. I just don't know what it was. To this day. To this day. I don't know what it was. I still feel like Titus afterwards when he was like, what did we just see? So, yeah, I think a proper match at WrestleMania between those two with Bray getting the win. I'd be down for that. I'd be down for that. Here's Mandy Rose. In the last year, I've heard every prediction in the book. Mandy can't wrestle. Mandy can't carry this title. Here I stand as your NXT Women's Champion. You're looking at a 1 in a billion superstar. This title is staying with me. I will be the last woman standing, says Mandy Rose. Seems to be channeling her inner Nikki Bella. Backwards cap. She seems to be cosplaying Nikki. Wesley Carmelo Hayes, contract signing coming up next. That was a great match, it was. Black Mask, I agree. Cena Logan Paul would draw more money than Gunther or Theory versus Cena, especially in Hollywood. Two big stars competing at the home of celebrities, making their names. Yeah, but I don't care about that as a fan, do I? Why do I care what draws more money? Why do I give a flip about that? See, this is where things get a little bit dirty. Like, there's lots of things you can do to make money, but they're not the things that I care for. They're not the things that are going to entertain me. You know, you could have no wrestlers at WrestleMania and have every match feature a celebrity. That'll make you tons of money. Because, you know, you could have KSI in one match. You could have Logan Paul in another match. You could have flipping Tom Brady in a match. Like, you could have every match across both days full of celebrities. That will be the highest gross in WrestleMania of all time. Is it a good idea? Nope. Sucks. It would suck. And again, it's just not fair to the wrestlers that have to work week in, week out. It always surprises me, you know, how wrestling fans are so quick to just abandon the wrestlers they watch each week. Like, these people cannot get onto the show. There was anger at Logan being at SummerSlam and being on that card against The Miz and certain wrestlers not getting on the card. Logan even said that on his podcast. I think when he was talking to Triple H, he said, like, I could sense backstage there was a lot of emotions towards me because of my position being on the card. He even said that to Triple H. So there are wrestlers that are backstage that are upset with the fact that these celebrities get these spots over them. And you can make the argument, well, they don't deserve them and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, how are they ever going to compete with the Logan Paul? You know, Logan is able to go out, create his own brand through, you know, social media and, you know, boxing and whatever, build up his fan base, and then seemingly that allows him to jump the queue. And then, like, someone like, you know, Ricochet or Nakamura or whatever, they just have to do as they're told in WWE, and WWE are not able to build them to the same level as Logan Paul. If WWE could build stars as big as Logan Paul had built himself, this wouldn't be a conversation, would it? Because all of a sudden Logan wouldn't look as attractive. Because Nakamura would be as big, and Ricochet would be as big, and all these other superstars would be as big. But WWE doesn't seem to have the ability to do that. I mean, I feel like they can sort of do it for the big names, like, say, Roman. Even Brock, you could argue, became really big when he went to UFC. And you could argue it was him being in UFC that really made Brock who Brock is. So, like, I think WWE have got the ability to build someone to that level, but not multiple stars to that level. I think if you're going to build someone to that level, they've got to really be winning all the time. They've got to be the guy. They've got to be main event in WrestleMania. They've got to be the champion. They've got to be Roman. So, you know, it's really hard for the other guys to kind of get to that level, isn't it? But I can still understand why they're frustrated. I can still understand why it's just, you know, frustrating for them. Because what can they do? How can they ever get to that level? And then, like, yeah, that argument of, well, you got to do Logan because it's better for business. What do I care about that? Why do I care? Why do you care? Why do you care if it's better for business? Why do I care if it's better for business? I heard Candice LeRae is injured until after Survivor Series, says Bonkers. Unbroken said Tom Brady is a little bit busy with his crypto rug pulls. Well, at least he's keeping himself busy. Right, we are back to NXT. We're going to have Carmelo coming up next. Carmelo and Wesley with a contract signing. We've got 48 minutes to go, but of course there will be an overrun. This is NXT. Don't forget. Don't forget. What do you think of this? A triple threat. Cena, Theory, Gunther. Not the biggest fan of triple threats. Just because if I was to go through a list of my favourite matches, pretty much none of them are triple threats or fatal four ways. I just think the emotion of two guys wearing each other down and the storytelling involved in that it's just better in a one-on-one match. So, I mean, look, if we end up getting that, then fine. You know, I mean, it's three big names, credible stars. I'd be into watching it. It wouldn't be a match I'd be dreading. It's just, if you was to say, do you want Theory versus Cena, or do you want Gunther versus Theory versus Cena, I would always choose the one-on-one match. I feel like one-on-one matches are better. They're just better. I find them more engaging. It's a battle between two people trying to get the victory. I always find that adding a third, adding a fourth, it doesn't add to the match to me. It always just takes something away. Don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because, like, you've got two people down and up. Here's the third person from the outside of the ring. And it's just like, you get that a lot. So, yeah, I'd watch it, but it wouldn't be my favoured option. Here is Booker T. Booker T. Here's Carmelo. Carmelo coming out with Trick. My team, Bianca Bailey got her 6. Bianca's got 5. 6th could be Becky, says David. Could be Becky. Peter said if Ali had a chance to talk more, then fans would care about him more and he would get a higher spot. I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for him because he's just getting buried, isn't he? He's just getting buried, and it's a shame. Easy99 said if you're not over enough, then you are a good wrestler and put on a good match. No one cares about you. You need personality and you need a character for fans to care. That is true, but you could make the argument that some people are not getting the opportunity to get their characters over. They're not getting the promo time. They're not getting the match time. They're not, and those that are not getting into high-profile matches. Look at Sammy. Sammy is super over, and you could put Sammy in like matches, but he's not being used in big matches. Granted, the last one was at in Saudi Arabia, and of course that was always going to be problematic. But Kevin Owens. I mean, Kevin Owens is over. People know who he is. He's not been getting onto shows. Again, I don't even know where he is at the moment. AJ Styles. I mean, I feel like we've really botched him over the past few years. Finn Balor. I mean, poor guy. Poor guy. I mean, granted, we're doing something with him now, but again, it's if you think how long he's been on the main roster and how many main event opportunities he's had, very few for someone of the caliber of Finn Balor. Right. You and Mello need to understand. Mello is no longer the A champion. Booker said he's so excited. The questions. You are on the precipice. You are on the precipice. Trick Williams says 3 times. Booker gives him a dirty look. Carmelo said, Wes, I've got no doubts in my mind that you won't go to your absolute limits. He's got a very impressive looking watch, Carmelo. These 15 minutes of sympathy and attention is over. So these 15 minutes of sympathy and attention are over. What do you think about Carmelo's ceiling? I think he can go very, very high. Whether he's big enough to be competing for the main championship, I'm not sure, but he's got an arrogance to him. He's got a confidence to him that's very reminiscent of like The Miz. Like Carmelo could have his own talk show quite easily. So talking wise, he's very comfortable. In ring wise, he's had some absolute bangers, man. We've seen him have some great matches. It's just his size, which under Vince would have been a problem. Under Triple H, maybe not a problem at all. Absolutely no doubt in my mind he competes for mid-card titles. No problem at all. No problem at all. World titles? I reckon he competes for one. Whether he stays in that main event scene, though. I feel like he could. The problem is, though, what giants are going to be around at the same time, you know? What bigger guys are going to clog up the main event scene whilst he's there? Shucky ducky quack quack. Booker T said, right, let's get this contract signed. First, the challenger. Carmelo says, actually, I prefer future 3-time champion. So, signature has been added to the contract by Carmelo. Austin Theory is the only reason I watch. I'm so interested to see the rise unfold. Is it bad to look forward to each episode? No. Any reason to look forward to an episode is great. Anything that gets you excited about tuning into Raw, NXT, AEW, SmackDown, brilliant. Listen, I've watched so many shows over recent years where I've looked at the preview card and gone, I'm not feeling a single thing here. It's not a single story or a single match. Mainly during lockdown, in all fairness. And you looked at it and you was like... So it's great now to have some stuff to look at and go, yeah, I'm really excited for that. Bray on a Friday, for example. Championship matches tonight. Whoa. These two squaring up. Booker T said it ain't going down like that. There ain't no one going through any damn tables. Save that drama for your mama. Who's going to be the champion next week, says Booker. Booker making it very clear. No one's going through a table here. Booker did a decent job there. Booker's got such a great look to him, hasn't he? Like, he still is bigger than most of the people here. He's a little smaller maybe than Trick. Here's Dijakovic. Donovan Dijak. You look good there, Booker. Give me the truth or I beat it out of you. Oh, yeah, we've not had scripts this week, have we? Looks like he's wearing glasses. Justice. Atonement. He looks cool in, like, glasses, actually. Just got a little glimpse of him wearing some, like, shades. So it is a different presentation, of course, for Donovan Dijak. So, Donovan, Dijak. Next up, we've got Briggs and Jensen in action. Do you think they're taking the phone selfie gimmick from Theory because Jake Paul does that also? No, I just think they want him to be more serious. I think that they've decided this is the moment that we're going to make him more focused, less comedy, and we're gonna build him. We're gonna try and properly build him. I can only imagine. I mean, like there was a lot of people saying Triple H didn't see it in Austin Theory. I never believed that. I never believed that. I just thought it was impossible because you can see his promos and you can see how smooth he is in the ring. It's not like you watch an Austin Theory match and he gets lost in the moves. You know, it's not like he goes against the ropes and you know he looks a bit lost, doesn't know what to do next, or he's going for something and it's a bit clunky or a bit botched. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've seen plenty of bad wrestlers to know what a bad match looks like. And we just don't see that from Austin Theory. Austin Theory is very smooth in the ring, very confident, commits to his moveset, operates at a nice pace, promo-wise good, selling fantastic. He's brilliant at selling. And, like, he had a character. They gave him the selfie stuff and all that kind of stuff, and I just think that maybe Triple H looked at it and went, that's not how I want to present this guy. I've got no plans for him to be a champion because I know what I want to do with those belts next year, and Theory's not in the conversation. So he didn't have any plans for him to do that, and he wanted to present him more seriously, and I think that's why we are where we are. My only criticism would be I wish he had lost it cashing in on Roman. I wish he had tried. I wish he'd thought it was the right moment, went for it and failed. But at least he would have tried cashing in on Roman and a world title rather than a mid-card title. Still would have meant that he lost the Money in the Bank briefcase. Still would have meant that he could have been angry about it and could have turned. But it wouldn't have been a mid-card belt. I just cannot get over the mid-card thing. Cannot get over. I'll never get over it. I would imagine that I will still be talking about it on my deathbed. I can't believe Austin Theory did that, you know. Come here. Come here. What is it? What is it, father? I can't believe Austin Theory cashed in on a mid-card championship. Oh my God, it was 50 years ago, father. I'm not over it, though. In many ways, I think that's what's killing me. I'd imagine that's going to be how it's going to play out in my life. Austin said, Theory is so good for someone so young. I think Scripps is a small guy, says Jim. I think Scripps should join Hit Row. If you've got the name Scripps, then I can only imagine you're a future hip-hop star in waiting. So, yeah. I need to see what... I don't know. This Scripps guy could get revealed, and we might not have a flip who it is. Genuinely might not know. Who was the first wrestler that got you into wrestling? Who was the first wrestler that got me into wrestling? Do you know what? If I was going to say a name, I'd probably say Big Boss Man. It's probably not true, but Survivor Series 92 is the first event I watched. And I remember Head Shrinkers against High Energy. And I think that was the first match. And I remember being like just blown away by it. But the match that really grabbed me was Boss Man against Nails. Because as a kid, I was just like, hang on. There's a police officer against a prisoner. Like, what? And I just couldn't get my head around it. So I'd have to say probably Boss Man and Nails. And then I just had to watch more because I needed to know what other characters there were. And I needed to know what else was going on. Right. We've got Blade, Anofe, Odyssey Jones. Woo! Right, is this going to be the Dyads? Are they going to come out with... Yeah, they are. Ava Rain. Briggs and Jensen versus... Is it Dyads? Dyads? I don't know how you spell it. Gone with it. Bossman versus Mountie was one of the feuds I was first invested in. Yeah, Bossman versus Mountie. I remember that feud. The one where he gets dragged off to prison. I want to say, is that like SummerSlam 91? Feel like it was 91, that. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. That was just before I got into wrestling. But obviously when I got into it, all I was doing was getting videotapes of old events. And that one I remember watching and just falling in love with it, man. I mean, that era of wrestling was so good if you was a kid. If you was an adult, it's probably cringe. Do you know what I mean? You're probably watching it going, Jesus. This is hardly the Four Horsemen. So I could imagine it being... I suppose that is WWE in a way, though. You know, there's a lot of stuff they do that I think if you're a kid, you're probably loving it. If you're an adult, you're like Riddle, you know, like the Riddle stuff at the moment. I'd imagine kids are probably loving Riddle. I find him quite repetitive at the moment, and I'm just not really into his, like, humour. I think it worked when he was bouncing off Randy, but just being on his own, it doesn't quite work for me. But for kids will probably just find him hysterical. Kids just probably love Riddle. I think we can agree the best person to be Mr. Money in the Bank is Kermit the Frog. Who is better, Theory or Thea? So Theory's better in the ring. He's probably better on the mic, but Thea probably brings more energy. I think the thing with Thea is when you see Thea, she's normally screaming into a microphone, running around in circles. She's hyper. Like, I find as soon as she comes on screen, you tend to just, like, smile because it's like, okay, she's going to do something. There'll be something that she'll do that'll be fun and she'll be, like, full of energy. With Austin Theory, I don't get that initial reaction of I just smile when I see him. But he'll tend to go to the ring and cut a very interesting promo, or, as we saw against Dolph, have a banging match. So, I mean, look, Theory's got a much higher ceiling, but I got high hopes for Thea Hale, man. I honestly think she can go on to do some big stuff on the main roster. Even in her current abilities. Because even if she was just like a manager or a valet, and she didn't wrestle, and she just came down and was like running around and like, you know, all of that, I think people would really take to her. But obviously, if she can work on her wrestling, get better at wrestling, that's going to give her more opportunities. And the fact she's, 19 or something is mental. Wow. Pretty vicious suicide dive there by the guy formerly known as James Drake. There is Fallon Henley. She is got her hands on her head. Just asking if Booker T is all right. Apparently the top of the commentary table kind of shot back. That was a hard shot, says Booker. Just gonna have a look at a replay here. I want to see how much it did shoot back. Ava Rain getting in the way. Booker was all right. I just saw the replay. The top of it shot more back. On the other side, it didn't shoot back into Booker. Booker was acting all shook up. Briggs and Jensen back in control. Love that. Love that. Is that... I don't know who's who. I don't know which one's Briggs, which one's Jensen. Grabs the opponent, hurls him against the ropes. As he bounces off on the outside, boom! Lovely move. I did see someone on social media. Oh, what's happening? Who's this? Kiana James on the outside with Fallon Henley. Kiana James goes down. One of the guys, Briggs or Jensen. Oof. Dyad are all over this. They're going to get the win. There we go. Schism win. Schism win. Kiana James came down. So Fallon Henley got her head in her hands. Kiana James causing problems. I would cash in Mandy's title just so I could roll around the ring with her, said William. Jeremy said, I missed the old school war games in NWA and WCW. Yeah, they were good, man. Wow, they were better than good, weren't they? They were great. So, Kiana James coming down, interfering. Allows the Dyad to get the win. Fallon Henley said, don't worry about her. You should have been worrying about the match. So, a bit of drama between Briggs and Jensen. Coming up next, Shawn Michaels issues a statement. What is it? What is it, Papa Shawn? What is it, Papa Shawn? Shawn Michaels issues a statement. Perhaps he's got his smile back. That would be great. I hope he's got his smile back. Falling Down is a great movie. That is a great movie. Will you do a World Cup preview and predictions? I honestly don't know. It all depends if we get chance to get all of the streams set up. I have to get the stream set up as the priority. Because if I don't, I've got a big problem as to when I'm going to do it. Because my schedule starting Sunday is literally like stream, sleep, stream, sleep. It's just, there's no spare time. It's literally streaming, sleeping. I would have no time to set up streams and make thumbnails and all that stuff. It's literally, I just go from sleeping to streaming. So, yeah, I've got to get it. I've got to get these done. So, if I get them done in advance and there is chance on, say, Sunday at some point before the stream starts, then, yes, I will try and get something out. But if not, then it might just be a conversation we have during streams. Daze is reuniting. He's going to reunite with Marty and go for the NXT tag titles. Oh, my. I would explode. If he brings out Marty Jannetty, I would explode. That would be the greatest. Let's end his career the way that it started in WWE. He came in with the Rockers. He goes out with the Rockers. Do it. Come on, Shaw. Anything short of that now is going to suck. Anything less than a full-blown Rockers reunion, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. Oh, that's such a good suggestion. Rooting for Heartbreak Kid Shawn Smiles, said Smurfy Tunes. No wrestling tomorrow if you're not busy, says Jim. There is. We've got AEW tomorrow. AE-dubs. The Rockers, yes. Great tag team. Great tag team. Think about the tag teams that were around in that era and just how different their personalities were. I mean, I feel like the Usos are good. I feel like New Day is stale. But I think you can save the New Day. You've just got to give them something new to enthuse about, get excited about, for the fans to get behind. They just haven't had anything creative for so long. I mean, honestly, do you remember when they hosted WrestleMania 33, was it? When was I want to say the Bootios thing was 32. I feel like when they came out of that box of Bootios, that was 32. Perhaps it wasn't. Perhaps it was 33. Because they were the hosts of 33. They were the hosts, because obviously they did the intro for the Hardy Boys coming back. But either way, I can't remember if the Bootios is 32 or 33. My head says 32. But then my head also says, I know they were the hosts of 33. But either way, it's been a long time. I mean, it's WrestleMania 39 next year. And, you know, since Bootio's, we had pancakes. And there was some ice cream for a short time. But, I mean, it's been years and years and years since we've had anything new for the New Day. Viking Raiders are good, though, aren't they? I mean, I feel like they've got good look, good gimmick. Sean's coming out. But yeah, that kind of late 80s periods. Just absolutely fantastic. Here's Sean. Here's Shawnee Pants. Right. Revolutionary. Iron Survivor Challenge, then. Okay. So is this rumored Iron Survivor match? So it's called the Iron Survivor Challenge. There's 2 matches, 25 minutes each. The match starts with 2 people being in the ring, and then 5. We build up. So we build up to 5. Man, that feels a bit. I like innovation. But you start off with 2, you build up to 5 eventually. So that means what? Only 3 more people are going to enter. And why don't all 5 start? The whole idea is to get as many pinfalls or as many victories in the 25 minutes as possible. So you've got to get as many pins as possible in 25 minutes. So why don't everyone start at the same time? Because surely the 2 that start have got a bigger advantage because they have got more time to get a pinfall or get a submission or get some sort of... I feel like they should all start at the same time. The match is a combination of a scramble match and King of the Mountain. Sounds like Elimination Chamber. It sounds a bit complicated. I did think about it being a bit complicated, but then I did also think, well, I suppose if you explain Royal Rumble, that's complicated. 2 start in the ring. Every 90 seconds, someone else comes down. Once everyone's in, you know, there's 1 winner once everyone's been thrown over the top. I mean, the thing with the Rumble is you would say, well, the people at the start have got a disadvantage, but that's part of the Rumble, isn't it? And I suppose you could make the argument that the people at the start of this have got an advantage, but that's part of the match. The thing with the Rumble, though, is that there's 30 people in a Rumble, so being at the start is kind of significant. This has only got 5 people in it. And the thing with the Rumble as well is that there's opportunity for legends to come down, and I always think that is not knowing who's coming down is part of the Rumble's charm. I think if this was going to be, so this is Indi versus, is it Tatum Paxley? I think if this had more people involved, it'd be hard though, wouldn't it? Because I mean, if I don't think you'd get away with 10 people competing. But if you had, say, 10 people, you didn't know who was coming in. And, you know, a couple of them would be potentially legends. Could be interesting. This is 5 people, though. 5 people. It's like a Rumble mixed with an Iron Man, mixed with the King of the Mountain, says Anthony. I think Austin should reunite with Gargano. Be a big treat for the tag. Be a big threat for the tag title, said Dagmawi. Time starts when they're all in the ring. Oh, my God. Oh, God, I hate this. I hate this. I hate this match not starting until everyone's in the ring thing. So that means the people that are in the ring have actually got a disadvantage because they're getting beaten up. Why can't we just start with everyone in the ring? Why can't we just do that? Yeah, I hate that about war games. So I'll have to look into it. So the thing doesn't start until everyone is in the ring. The face mask has been removed here by Indi Hartwell. It's 1-on-1. Every minute a wrestler comes in until all wrestlers are in the match. The match starts. Whoever gets the most pins in 25 minutes wins the match, says Easy99. Rob said, rocking chair after midnight. My youth is gone. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that. So Tatum Paxley had the mask ripped off her face, and Indi has picked up the victory. Ivy Nile jumps into the ring. Indi stares at her. Lights out. Okay. Here's Stacks. Your cameras couldn't catch me. I got past your guards with ease. Now that I'm here, everything after this will only be a breeze. A breeze? Maybe I'm getting a bit too excited there. Any mention of breeze is going to get me very excited. Totally down for Tyler Breeze coming back. Totally down for Prince Pretty. If that turns out to be Prince Pretty, that might be my favorite potential return. They're making such a big deal out of this. Is it really going to turn out to be someone that we don't know who it is? Oh, I'd love Tyler Breeze to come back. I would love Tyler Breeze to come back. Yeah, I would love Tyler Breeze to come back. Live this Friday. Tyler Breeze as Jigsaw. I mean, it'd be a hell of a reinvention, wouldn't it? A hell of a reinvention. Chris said definitely Tyler Breeze. Well, I mean, look, I can see why that argument would be there, that it's Tyler, because they're making a big deal out of this person, and if they reveal it and we go, who's that? That wouldn't make much sense, would it? I feel like it needs to be someone we know. Add in the fact that Triple H always seemed to really appreciate Tyler Breeze. I mean, Tyler wasn't really doing it on the main roster, neither was Fandango, but they found a home in NXT. You know, Triple H gave them a place to go to. Tyler Breeze was always booked well. When he was a solo star in NXT, obviously he had that match with Jushin Thunder Liger. Could they have reached out to him and, you know, brought him back? But if they were going to do that, would they really do that and bring him back as Scripps? Don't know. Could it be someone moving down from the main roster? Could it be someone that we know from that way? I know 900,000 is the hardcore AEW fan base, but it's unfortunate they can't do 1,000,000 as it's a nice round whole number. If Breeze comes out as Jigsaw, would he still be taking the selfies? That would be awesome, said Chris. Probably not. Probably not. I mean, I was just thinking then Theories stopped doing the selfies. So what, like, now would be the time to bring back Tyler Breeze because he could do the selfies now and not be, like, compared with Theory. But I don't think this Scripps character is going to come back and start doing the selfie stuff. So, I mean, look, I don't know that it's Tyler Breeze. I just thought the Breeze mention was interesting. But last women standing match, 10 minutes only. Well, there'll be the overrun as well. There'll be the overrun. It's Drake Maverick, said Booms TV. Tyler Breeze is Jigsaw. Maybe it's another Bray personality, says John. Oh, I don't think Bray's going to faff around with NXT. I think he's got enough on his plate. I don't think he needs to be Scripps as well. I tried Googling Mandy Rose's shoe size, but I can't find any info. Maybe that's on WikiFeet. Don't know. Don't know where you would find that information. Great Muta will be in the Rumble. You're welcome, says Junior. Calv the Joker said Velveteen Dream is going to be the mystery person. Coach Co said not to break a popular belief, but camel humps are not full of water. Tharuka, shout out to you. Tyson said Scripps is T-Bar. No, T-Bar's got his own little vignettes. He's the one that's talking about justice. That's T-Bar. So I don't think he's coming back as, whatever he's doing with that and Scripps. I feel like Scripps is going to be someone different. T-Bar would be a good shout if we hadn't already seen those other vignettes. Here's Roxanne Perez congratulating Indi Hartwell. Don't you think it was a bit too far to take off her mask? I'm doing everything I can to get into the Iron Survivor Challenge. It sounds Iron Survivor Challenge. It's going to take a little while to get used to saying that. Iron Survivor Challenge. Wesley against Carmelo Hayes next week. So Indi wants in the Iron Survivor Challenge. Wendy Chu taking on Cora Jade next week. 4,761 hours. That's the total time of all the videos add up from here at Football, not including private and member stream. Jeez, let me write that down. That's amazing, Alex. How long did that take you, bud? That's amazing. How long did that take you? I am very impressed that you've been able to do that. No way would I have the patience to do that. Four, 7, 6, 1 plus 952. 4761 plus 952 equals 5,713 hours. Divide that by 24. That is 238 solid days of streaming. 238 solid days. If you wanted to watch everything on the channel and just go from one stream to the next stream to the next stream to the next stream with no breaks, it would take you, according to Alex, 238 days to watch everything on the channel. That's amazing. And also really depressing that I've given that much of my life to this channel. Because that clearly does not include setup. Clearly doesn't include all the time to set up those streams, do the research, create thumbnails. Jeez Louise. That's a lot of talking, if you think about it. How have I still got a voice? 238 days constantly of streaming on the channel. That's amazing, Alex. Alex, hang on. Where's the applause? There. Woo! Shout out to you, Alex. That equates to almost 200 days, said Hayden. It's mental, isn't it? Right, Mandy in the ring. Alba in the ring. Last woman standing. Main events. Main events. Mandy Rose versus Alba Fire. Alba looking very focused in the background. Are we going to get... And no! Let's have a look at the chat. Over 500 votes. 55% of you think that Mandy's going to retain. 45% of you think we're going to get Anu. So majority have gone with and still. There's Alba Fire. Come on, Alba. Make her humble. Make her humble. She is the NXT Women's Champion, Mandy Rose. Alex is officially a boomer. I think Mandy wins, but I really hope not, says Austin. Is she dressed like Nikki Bella? Yes, she is. That has got to be on purpose. It's got to be on purpose. The backwards cap and everything. I'm the champion. I make the rules. Kiss the leg of Mandy. She's got Mandy on her back. Mandy rolls out the ring. Which way is this going to go? Oh, suicide dive. Nice. Alba Fire versus Mandy Rose. Let's go, says Kaiwan. Alba stripping the commentary table. This match won't last long. Time is running out, says Courtney. Who do you think wins, Mandy or Alba? I'm going Alba. Gonna go Alba. It's now or never, isn't it, for Alba? She had an opportunity. Fell short because of toxic attraction. She's taken them out of the equation. Into the barricade goes Mandy Rose. Mandy again hurled into another barricade. Last woman standing. There's going to be no time for faffage. Chair to the midsection. They're going to have to just go, go, go. It's going to make for a really fun match, actually. Already we've got hammers being introduced. A toolbox has been reached for. There's a chair. Chair on the ground. Mandy getting back up to her feet. Alba picks her up. Mandy lands on her feet. Picks up, slams Alba onto the chair. And into the ring goes Mandy. Carmen Live said, I might be going to the All-State Arena in Chicago for SmackDown on December 16th. Oh, I hope you do, and I hope you have a great time. SmackDown feels like the show to go and see at the moment. Kick to the midsection. So, yeah, hope you go, dude. Hope you have a great time. Mandy, back knee strike. Chair goes flying out the ring. So we've got Alba on her feet. She's got a... What is that? Like a steel bar of some kind? That's nasty. Look at that. She's got it around the back of the knee. She's pulling it into the knee. She's actually, look at that. Single leg Boston Crab with a steel bar as well. That's pretty cool. Gets to the ropes, and we go to commercial break. Oh, I think, surely our final commercial break. Paul said, dream match, Mandy Rose versus Nikki Bella. Who wins? Who wins in the fans? The simps. The simps win, that's who wins. All those simping accounts on Twitter. Jeez, that'd be like Christmas for the simps. Yeah, I mean, look, in this day and age, got to think it'd be Mandy. Brad, shout out to you, my friend. Appreciate the kind words. Brad said, people always forget about the overrun. I remembered this week. I remembered. It's only taken me 2 years. It's only taken 2 years. Alba is a Scottish Gaelic name for Scotland, says Miss Clown One. Right, well, fun little match so far. Fun little match. It's been an all right show, in all fairness. I'm still unsure as to how I feel about that new match, though. I need to see it. I think any match that doesn't start until all the competitors are in. That's already rubbing me the wrong way. So I'm a little bit split, but I mean, we need to see it. I sort of like the idea that if you lose, if you get DQ'd, or if you get pinned, or if you get submitted, you've got to go into that sin bin, and you lose 90 seconds of time, which, you know, you've only got 25 minutes to play with, so you lose like 90 seconds. Like I like that. I like that. So yeah, there's some stuff about it that I like. But we were born with only two natural fears: the fear of falling and the fear of loud sounds. Raw did 1-7. Oh, okay, well, that's not bad. That's not bad. Raw did 1-7. For a sub-part show against a good football game is impressive. Yeah, I would say 1-7's not bad at all. I've been adding to it since about January. I only remembered it also includes WEP and Football Daze clips. Minutes haven't been turned to hours yet. No, I just did it. 57,156 minutes equates to 952 hours. Added to 4761 comes to 5713 hours. I didn't do the seconds, but just the minutes and the hours equates to 238 days, which is amazing. And I appreciate you doing that, because that's a really fun fact. And that probably, if you include the seconds, obviously goes up obviously more. But yeah, that's amazing. And depressing at the same time. I can feel my voice failing me just thinking about it. God only knows where we'll be after the World Cup. Albert comes crashing down onto Mandy Rose. Referee counting. Stop Mandy Rose's title reign, says Bray Wyatt. Wow, Bray, I thought you'd have like your focus elsewhere, to be honest, bud. I didn't think this would bother you that much, but fair play. You didn't add up the seconds because you've actually got a life. Well, Alex, I think you've established I haven't. If there's one thing you've established this evening, it's that I definitely don't have a life. Or I do have a life, and it's currently all being filmed. It's basically the Truman Show. Mandy down on the outside, ladder being set up against the ring post. Alba grabbing Mandy. Mandy going into the ladder reversed. Alba goes into the ladder. Alba goes down. Referee count in. Obviously, last woman standing match. You've got to keep your opponent down for 10 seconds. We saw a last woman standing match at Crown Jewel, and we saw the lengths they had to go to. This, I mean, they just don't have the time, do they? So they've got to up the intensity. They're right now, Mandy has got a ladder. She is ramming it into Alba Fire. I don't know if that ladder fell and landed on Alba Fire's arm. But right now, Alba Fire is against the barricade. She's using the barricade to get back to her feet. The referee is counting. Alba's surely going to make it. She does. Mandy grabbing Alba, hurling her into the ring. So Mandy in the ring with a trash can. Puts the trash can down. going to look to plant Alba Fire through that trash can. Picks her up. Scoops her up. Oof. Goes down. Up on the shoulders. Mandy on the shoulders. Gets planted. Ooh. Into the trash can, but the trash can doesn't really buckle. It still would have broken her fall to a degree, and it's definitely dented. I mean, you couldn't really take it back to the shop now. But right now, Mandy is down in the center of the ring. Alba getting up on the edge of the ring. It's all happening. Have you ever been to Chicago? I haven't, no. I would like to go. I just find Florida just so irresistible. I mean, the thing with Florida is you know that you're going to get fantastic weather. You've got all of the theme parks there. It's hard. It's hard to go anywhere in America but Florida, I think, if you live in England. New York's obviously interesting. Feel like you have to do New York for the sightseeing. And maybe some people would be interested in going to Washington. Certainly LA and Vegas. But those are the places that kind of grab your attention, you know. I always fancied going to Seattle because I really like Frasier. And I thought that could be fun. But I've heard there's not loads there. And then you just go, well, why don't I just go to Florida? It's closer. It's got better weather. And it's got loads of theme parks, loads of restaurants, loads of shopping. Tampa. You know what I mean? Hogan's Beach Shop. 2 of them, actually, in Florida. And NXT. Alba Fire getting up to her feet. Mandy pushed her into the edge of the ring. Alba on the outside. Mandy on top of the barricade. Jumps down. Super kick. Super kick by Alba. We're running out of time here. It's been a fun match. She's got Mandy Rose up. Plants her into the edge of the ring. How significant is that moment going to be? She plants her into the edge of the ring. This is awesome, chants. This is awesome. Baseball bat to the midsection. Alba Fire. Alba Fire has definitely got the momentum. Someone has brought a sign. And I have no idea what it says because the writing is so small. So small. What the flip does that say? Ladder is set up. She's flipped it round. Now it says, this is awesome. That's better. The other side seemed to be a flipping life story. Oh, Isla Dawn! Isla Dawn is here! Isla Dawn arrives! Ah! Alba gets pushed into the commentary table. She climbed the ladder. What, is she going to be in Toxic Attraction? Isla Dawn has interrupted. Damn! Alba Fire had dealt with Gigi, dealt with JC, was about to put Mandy Rose away. She was on top of the ladder. She was going to come crashing down. And Isla Dawn arrives. We were only talking about her earlier. I thought she was still signed. But Isla Dawn arrives. And Kaylee Ray goes down. Referee counting. And it is a win for Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose retains. Mandy Rose retains. Isla Dawn looks good. Isla Dawn looks good. She's changed her hair. It looks a bit longer. It's a bit curlier. She still looks like she's never seen the sunshine. The modern day witch. Lights are flickering. Is that Isla Dawn? What's happening? Lights are flickering. Screens are going faulty. Is that her? Is she having an effect on the technology? Is that a power she's developed? Did she have that power in NXT UK? Isla Dawn on NXT. Alba Fire lost. Did anyone have Isla Dawn on their NXT bingo card? Said Jim. No, I didn't. I thought she was going to be the reveal for Schism, to be honest. I did not expect her. I didn't expect her here. I certainly didn't expect her to be helping Mandy. I wonder if she's not a part of Toxic Attraction. Maybe she's just, like, arrived and got it in for Alba. She's got a good look. She's got a good look. Did she just spit in her face? She went full on Carlito, yes. She went full on Carlito. Corey says, oh my God, it's Bray Wyatt. Well, listen, Bray Wyatt's looking pretty sexy, right? That's the sexiest I've ever seen Bray Wyatt looking. Well, I mean, I say that. He's looked pretty good at times in the Funhouse. Looked pretty jacked. But in all fairness, I'd probably go with this version. This is my favourite version of Bray Wyatt. Mandy needed to keep the championship, said James. Bray Wyatt said it's a bad day for wrestling. The people I still call by their previous names are Kaylee Ray, Jordan Devlin, James Drake, Zach Gibson, Oliver Carter, Raul Mendoza, Casey Catanzaro, Pete Dunne, Io Shirai, A-Kid, Raquel Gonzalez. Well, it must be confusing watching wrestling with you if you're doing that then. Imagine being new to wrestling and you're calling all these wrestlers different names. Oh my God. Wouldn't be able to keep up. LA Knight, shout out to you. Sexy Fiendess. Sexy Fiendess. Sexy Fiendess in the building. Hey, she'd look great with Bray, you know. She would look great with him. I wonder if Bray, like, is looking at Isla Dawn going, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll see you. I'll see you. Listen, I've got an Alexa problem you can help me with. And if you can interrupt the TV screens just like that Uncle Howdy can, well, I'm very interested in talking to you. Because if he interrupts me, you could then interrupt him and get him gone. Could you imagine that? Uncle Howdy interrupts Bray, and then Isla Dawn does something, and then like he goes away again, and he comes back, and he's like, what happened? And she gets him to go again. And he comes back, and he's like, can you stop doing? And then he's gone again. That'd be brilliant. A show-off between Uncle Howdy and Isla Dawn as they're both trying to interrupt the transmission. That would be hilarious. Maybe Triple H will bring back Eric Young as Scripps. Maybe. Yep. Eric Young's not a bad shout at all. Back to the Future is on now, said Bearded Bronco. A watch along for that. Oh, Bearded Bronco. I have not got time for things like this. I have got so much work to do for the World Cup that it's amazing I'm not crying right now. Started off good, but went to the toilet fast. Mandy can't wrestle, and it's an insult to real talent, says Freebirds. Seth freaking Rollins versus Theory versus Mustafa Ali versus Bobby Lashley at Survivor Series, says Dogmatic. Uncle Howdy is Booker T, says SB Studios. Triple H in every match has done interference from Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and the pay-per-views. It's getting old. Do you know what? It's really funny because in the old NXT, there never used to be interference. It was one of the things that really stood out to me was that we just weren't getting outside interference. It just wasn't a thing. I can remember watching it, really amazed that they were actually having winners and losers. And, like, it really stood out, like, no outside interference. But it is true, like, I mean, it is just something that seems to be ever present at the moment. So I'm really pleased they don't do it with Gunther, though. It'd be really easy for, like, Ludwig Kaiser, That's his name, isn't it? I can never remember if it's Ludwig Kaiser or Ludwig Klein. But either way, Ludwig could easily be interrupting, and Giovanni Vinci. But you don't tend to see them during Gunther matches. He tends to win his matches clean, which is brilliant. I'm really pleased they do that for him. But it is true, there is a lot of outside interference in modern wrestling. Certainly in AEW. Although, saying that, AEW, they tend to have their brawls after the matches, in all fairness to them. Is HBK running NXT? He is, yes. World of Sport is expected to return in the UK, says Gordon. Is it? I never heard that. That's interesting. I would love for there to be a big wrestling show on TV on a Saturday in the UK. That'd be fantastic. I mean, the last one just didn't gain any traction. No one was really paying it attention. There was a little bit of buzz, but that buzz was more amongst wrestling fans more than amongst casuals. But yeah, that'd be great if there was a bit of a rebirth of World of Sport. That'd be great. Carmen Live said, I give NXT an 8 out of 10. Chicago has Navy Pier, which is located on Lake Michigan. I have no idea what that is. Don't know what that is. Is it better than Disney World? That's my question. Is it better than Universal Studios? Because that's what Florida's got. And sun. And good shopping. I'm sure Chicago's probably got good shopping. And you've certainly got good pizza. No, you are winning at that. Dewdrop was in it. Dewdrop was in it. Dewdrop was in what? 5.10. Sonny says spooky noises. Right, listen, I'm going to go. I'm going to do the review. And then I have got to get working on flipping... thumbnails. This is just my life now. So again, I'm not ignoring people. If people think I'm a bit quiet on Twitter or I'm a bit absent in comments or you're just not seeing much of me, this is what I'm doing at the moment, right? You're going to see a lot of me very soon when we do our streams and then 40 plus World Cup streams on top. So I'm very much in that world right now. So I'm going to go off and do that quick review, get that sorted. I always like to do that afterwards. And then we will be... back tomorrow for AEW. Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for keeping me company. And I will see you again next time. Bye for now.